Yeah, bruv, the game ain't hard when you got the trump card. It's all rigged and I'm calling more games than Bob Uecker. Changing the outcomes like Duke Nukem to a new future. Win some, lose some, bag some, choose none. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we going to listen to what they say? The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean and Sylvanians. Bloodlines, overtime, dragon descendants. Scripting bread and circus lizards in attendance. Serpent queens, breaking dreams, dragging me down. The underworld royalty is all about how much you can clown. I'm talking about the number 9-2. If you didn't know, well now you do. Numerous fears, what's in the hearse? I am who I am, man with a plan. Where you at with the rebellion? 1 in a million, us against a billionaire reptilians. Look at the word rebellion, spells out the same as the rebel lion. Ain't even trying, ain't living, you're dying. Well done to the skeleton, no time for rebellion. Strawmen led by spellmen, dialectic Hegelian. Everyone's worked up waiting for the aliens. Problem, reaction, solution.
Hey, copy, mic check.
The script tells that they cast spells like nuclear fusion, spreading confusion, lie distribution. Old as hell, ain't even some new shit.
All the uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians.
Okay, so I'm about to take it out.
The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we gonna listen to what they say?
Welcome back, ballers, to another episode of Eye to Eye with AJ, Rambo, Cody, Myron, aka He Got Game, and of course, the Spiritual Shade Room, one, Ani OSARU. Before we dive into introductions, I just want to do a quick mic check with the panel today. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. We got a great show for everybody tonight. Lots to touch on. And I mean, big night for us to be doing this, right? The 1-year anniversary of the death of Pope Francis. It's also the 10-year anniversary of the death of the artist formerly known as Prince. Among other things, you know, I was re-listening to this song, you know, Aliens, etc. Very interesting. Shout out to Sean Desad for pointing out in the Discord that it is reported maybe that David Wilcock has passed as well. He's a publisher. Author, best known for his work regarding UFOs. So that's pretty fitting, and the timing's very peculiar considering the stuff that Rambo's been talking about with UFOs for quite some time. So anyways, let's just dive in really quick. My name's AJ, Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. You guys can find all of my work here on YouTube where we're streaming tonight, as well as on Instagram at Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. Please feel free to send me an email at any time, wordplay book with 3 O's in book at Gmail, if you guys are interested in getting a copy of any of the books that I've written over the last several years. Also have a Patreon for those that are interested in, you know, the sports decoding side of things as well. So next I'll pass it off to Cody. You have the floor, brother.
Yeah, thanks again, AJ, for having this show as usual, and thanks to all the great people on the chat tonight. We got a lot of them. Got Rambo. Thanks for Rambo being here also, and all the great work that he does. And then glad to have our guests tonight, Myron and Ani. Appreciate them being here with us and look forward to a great stream. Also, thank you to everyone in the chat. And if you guys want to find me, it's on the screen there, Decoding with Cody and that's on YouTube. And also my Buy Me a Coffee link is www.buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody. Look forward to a great stream.
We appreciate you, Codes. Thanks again for the sacrifices you make getting up in the middle of the night for this. So we appreciate it. Ani, please let the viewers know where they can find you and support you.
Yes, it's a pleasure being back on the platform. You guys can find me on Instagram at the Spiritual Shade Room 1, or you can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/THE_Spiritual Shade Room. It's called the True Occult Newspaper. And yes, I'm ready to get into a lot of information. There's a lot happening, and it's a pleasure to share this information with you guys today.
100%. Yeah. And you just reminded me, Ani, all of Ani and everyone here, all of our credentials, all of our links and things are in the description of the video as well. So please make sure to go check out Ani's work on Patreon. Next, Myron.
Hello again, everyone. Thank you again for having me. You can find me on Instagram, He Got Game H3 GOTTGAM3 with the underscore. That's where I record all of my work and save it and post. Lately, I've just been getting a lot of support. So again, thank you for having me on this platform. It's really helped me get the things that I've been sharing out. And then, like I always say, learning from great minds like you. So I appreciate you guys again for having me.
Yeah. And just everybody make sure to stay tuned a little bit later. Myron's got another handful of slides for us to review, and a lot of it will reflect on what you can see on his Instagram stories. So please, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to give him a follow. And lastly, but certainly not least, Rambo, please kick us off tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me again, and thank you for putting this together. Thank you, Cody, for the sacrifices he makes. It's not easy for him to make it, but he's committed, and he has a wealth of knowledge, which we all appreciate. And thank you, Ani. Ani's been on before, and he has a big following. He's earned a big following, so it's a privilege to share with what he has, the knowledge that he has, and with Myron. And Myron, he's gotten the great feedback every time he's on, so he knows how appreciated he is as well. And obviously you, AJ, for you're I'm going to say the architect. But I don't know. It might be taken. But yeah, you're the one who put it all together. We wouldn't all be here if not for you. People try to collaborate and they can't do it, but you're able to get people together, and you have your decodes as well, and you have your knowledge as well. So I just appreciate putting this all together, the effort that you've put into it, and for promoting my platform, which is patreon.com/thetruthcodes, which has only one tier, and it's $5 a month. And for that, you get all the content that I put out. I put out videos. It's mostly in the form of videos, but I also have written posts, and I also have a whole library of past videos and decodes, some of which are available for free because you can join the Truth Codes Patreon for free. So you can get things like previews and past videos, and once in a while I'll put some posts out for free, just for everybody. There is some content for free. You can join for free, but the membership is just $5 a month. And you also have access to the community Discord server, which is some Codebreaker community. That's what it's called, the Codebreaker community Discord. You have access to that. And I'm also on Instagram.com/thetruthcodes.
$5 a month, you guys. I say it every week. It's not a day. It's not a week. We're talking 16 cents a day, you guys. If you guys haven't done so already, give Rambo a shot. I guarantee you it'll be the best $5 you'll spend. So speaking of which, I'm going to pass you the screen here, Rambo. That way we can dive into what you had today. And I know you had a little follow-up kind of from what Myron had touched on last week as well. So excited about that.
Yeah, it's just a slight addition, which is relevant to some of the things he said. So, but what I have here is an excerpt. My latest video on Patreon is a 30-minute, half-hour video, and it's on the Artemis 2 and the symbolism. I really go in depth on the symbolism involved in the Artemis 2. NASA it's steeped in everything. That's one of the things I show. on my channel, in my decos, how everything is steeped in quote unquote occult, like however you want to define occult is. Everything is. You could call these the building blocks to the matrix if you want to make the metaphor of this world we live in being a matrix. Well, these occult symbols, it's in everything. But of course, NASA, no stranger at all. And I focus primarily when it comes to NASA on its history of its establishment. Its partner organization is Jet Propulsion Labs, which was founded by Jack Parsons, who is just unknown. This is not theory. It's a fact and acknowledged even by NASA itself. A very renowned magician, Jack Parsons. And I've really focused on him a lot. He is relevant. He's been relevant for a while, but especially now with the Artemis moon mission. Just remember who one of the founding fathers of rocketry is. Jack Parsons, a ritual magician who specialized specifically in sex magic. And in my half-hour video, it's titled The Magic of Artemis 2. I go in depth on the sex magic aspect of this specific launch and in general, where the symbols of sex magic and how you see them. And it's not just in the occult. That's why I say, how do you define the occult? Some of these symbols, it's the yin yang. And actually goes to just like a basic principle, just in life. It's not just magic. It's just in science, that yin yang male female polarity that exists. And that's at the heart of this decode and at the heart of the Artemis 2 launch, especially considering that one of the fathers of rocketry, who was involved in the original moon landing, whether it happened or not, he's still involved in it. He's involved in rocketry. We know rocketry exists, that's for sure. Jack Parsons has everything to do with all of this. He's still relevant. And so this is an excerpt. I think a little bit less than 3 minutes, over 4 minutes. It's an excerpt from my video. Another important thing to establish, I will establish in the excerpt, is NASA is also co-established by Nazis. Well known, not conspiracy, is fact. It is also co-founded by Nazis. And just like with the sex magic and the things that Parsons did, it didn't end. No, that is an intrinsic part of Nazis, of NASA and the world at large. And just to remind people that at the inauguration of the President of the United States, that was in 2025, at the lectern of the President of the United States, Elon Musk did a full-on Nazi salute. So if, just to show, no, this is not speculation or theory. This is at the inauguration of the President of the United States in front of the entire world, a Nazi salute. Nazi salutes were performed by Elon Musk. So that's in my video. So yes, are Nazis involved in founding NASA? It's not denied. It's a fact. Are they still, well, I've shown it. Are they relevant now? Well, look what happened at the inauguration. I mean, they're letting you know. It's not a theory. Nonetheless, here's the excerpt from my video titled The Magic of Artemis 2.
NASA's media liaison reporter from Mission Control was Leia Cheshire Mustachio. Her name is another element of the alchemical ritual. Mustachio is from mustache in Italian, a distinct male reference. So again, a female bearing a last name of a male physical feature. This is alchemy. The most famous and distinct mustache in history is that of Adolf Hitler. This is significant because NASA is co-founded by Nazis. This is no conspiracy or secret, so occulted Nazi tributes are the norm at NASA. Michael Jordan, of all people, has himself done an Adolf Hitler tribute. That was in 2017.
It's easy to forget that Michael Jordan wasn't always the greatest of all time. No, he had to become the GOAT.
There was one moment that did it.
I saw it and I thought, wow, there it is. MJ's the greatest.
It wasn't the shot.
It wasn't the flu game. It was the Hitler mustache.
MJ didn't officially become the GOAT until the Hitler mustache.
Jordan won 6 titles, became the face of Nike, a billionaire. But here's the thing. There are lots of billionaires.
Gates, Buffett, Zuckerberg. They're all rich, but there's one thing they can't do.
Wear a Hitler mustache.
If another billionaire wore a Hitler stash, he'd be boycotted. destroyed.
Really? Then explain this. 7 years after this production, Elon Musk, an even bigger billionaire than Michael Jordan is, went much, much further than a mere mustache. A full-on, unapologetic Nazi salute. And there was more to it in what he said. I've done decodes on it with no repercussions at the inauguration of the President of the United States.
But with Jordan, you were never quite confident enough to criticize him.
Jordan had been challenging people to call out his fashion choices for years, but his Hitler mustache was his peak.
The Hitler stash was Jordan saying, "No one dare come at the king." A lesser man would have gone for a Brawley Fingers stash or 19th century pugilist.
Jordan just had that singular confidence to go right for the greatest taboo.
See, what you have to understand is that Hitler was a really bad guy. He was the goat of evil.
Jordan didn't just hide in his mansion. He brought the mustache to a Hanes commercial. The Hanes commercial. When he shows up on set with a Hitler mustache, he's telling everyone, who among you is going to tell Michael Jordan to shave? And no one did. There were a few comments and blog posts about it, but there was no outrage.
Instructed by his overlords, of course, he had no say in the matter. Again, Michael Jordan has similar coding to the Baphomet. He's coded with the same esoteric principles. As above, so below. Delta, the upward pointing triangle and the downward pointing triangle logo. Shout out to He Got Game, Myron, who pointed out that Michael Jordan's 6th and final NBA championship was clinched at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. The Baphomet is not an evil symbol. It expresses forces of opposition and polarity, the positive and negative electrical poles, a principle that runs all technology. Baphomet is just a scary-looking depiction of those forces. The Temple of Satan has co-opted the Baphomet, and now it has become associated with Satan. So at this point, there's very little anybody can do to rehabilitate the image of the Baphomet. So the female NASA spokesperson named Mustachio, alchemical symbolism from an organization co-founded by Nazis.
Yeah, so as you can see there, another occulted tribute is the birthday of one of the Artemis II astronauts, Victor Glover, whose April 30th birthday is the purported death date of Adolf Hitler. So with NASA, there are, and I could go on with other coded Nazi tributes that NASA does. Well, it stands to reason why, and it's not just Werner von Braun, who he along with Jack Parsons, either like considered the two biggest, most influential people in rocket science. But there are other Nazis, multiple other Nazis. There are a whole slew of Nazis that came over and worked with NASA after World War II. So you'll see multiple tributes like that. And in 2026, I don't think it's a coincidence that you have an astronaut with the same, but it's an important date. His birthday is that of Adolf Hitler's purported death date. And I also go into this in the video. The University of Connecticut in 2009, this is a university study, not a conspiracy theory, a university study by United States accredited university, looked at the skull that has been ever since the year since World War II ended, since Hitler allegedly died, what has been acknowledged as Hitler's skull. University of Connecticut studied that skull and concluded that it belonged to a woman between ages, I think it said between ages 20 to 40. It belonged to a woman. And again, you see the same Baphomet imagery. It just said it's the skull of Hitler, a man, and it's actually the skull of a woman. It's not a conspiracy theory. The University of Connecticut did a scientific study in 2009. You can look it up. That is not Hitler's skull. So did Hitler survive World War II? Well, most likely he did. There are multiple witnesses who saw him in Argentina. So again, this is NASA. Just real quick, just a review of what I talked about last week. Again, shout out to Kiwi. He's the one who pointed out to me that the Artemis logo upside down is the Baphomet. I would not have known that. It wouldn't even, that's what led to my entire decode, because I would not have noticed that. But I go more into depth in it. But these are the horns. It could be a bull as well. So you can see how Michael Jordan will be attached to that. These are the horns. This is the face of the goat. That's when it's upside down. And I talked about Baphomet, what the name Baphomet means. What the code is in Baphomet, it has to be read backwards. Baphomet backwards is Tem of Ab. And the breakdown here, Tem is temple. Off is Greek for wisdom. Think of the word philosophy. That's wisdom. Off is in there. The wisdom goddess is Sophia. Off, Sophia, O-F. So off is wisdom in Greek. And Ab is Greek for father. Abbas is father. And just to review, you can see this this short breakdown on the hidden meaning of Baphomet on Instagram, on my Instagram, Instagram.com/thetruthcodes, where I do a video on just this. It's a short, it's Instagram, so it's a short attention span Instagram, so it's only a short video. Tem means temple. Off is wise in Greek, and Ab is Abbas, which is father in Greek. So Baphomet is a hidden reference to the temple of the wise father. What is the temple of the wise father? Well, who's the wise father? Who's associated with wisdom? I mean, Sophia, that's a female in Greek. Solomon is associated with wisdom. He's considered wise, and he has a temple. Temple of the wise father could refer to Solomon or Yahweh, which is why the commander of this hidden Baphomet symbol was Wiseman. This is why they chose Wiseman, because he's the wise father of Baphomet, which is why you had the hidden Baphomet symbol. The wise temple of the wise father, this is the wise father. He's a representative of Solomon. And that's how they came up with that. And Solomon's temple has the twin pillars. So that's the Baphomet, again, it's a metaphor. I actually said it in the video. The Baphomet is not evil. But you're not going to convince anybody that it's not evil. It wasn't intended as evil. Well, it does now. When Temple of Satan, and you notice it's the satanic temple, the temple of Satan. They don't say the church of Satan, they say temple. Why? Because Baphomet has a hidden temple reference. That's why they use the temple of Satan. But so they've completely pretty much destroyed the image. All the Baphomet really is, it's just an expression. You could just use a completely different symbol. You could use the yin yang, the Asian yin yang. That's not a threatening symbol. Like, yeah, people can accept, even if you're not into Asian culture or symbolism or mythology or spirituality, you can say, okay, yin yang, I can accept that. Oh, Baphomet is the same. It just looks scary. But of course, once certain entities get a hold of a symbol like a swastika is a cycle symbol. It's a Jupiter symbol. It's a good luck symbol. Always has been for a long time throughout multiple Asian cultures. The swastika, well, once certain people get a hold of that, well, it's done. As far as maybe not in Asia, but across the world now, the swastika, it's been completely desecrated. But it is not. It's a symbol of luck. It's a symbol of Jupiter, and it's a symbol of cycles. And the same with the Baphomet. So the Baphomet now, the temple, we know what they're going with that, of Satan now. And I don't know how much effort they actually put into explaining people what the Baphomet really is, but they've co-opted it. It was created by Eliphaz Levi, but there are multiple expressions of the principle, the male, female, plus, minus polarity. That's what it is. And it's in Solomon's temple, which is the male, female. Of course, Solomon's temple, I used to have the original Hebrew spirituality had, which Solomon's temple did express the male, female. El, the male, and Elah, the female. And they got rid of Elah after they were in Babylon. They came back from Babylon, from the exile in Babylon. No more Elah, just El. And look at the world today. It's now imbalanced. And what is the temple? The temple is not a literal place. Solomon's temple is not a literal place. When you take a symbolism and you take it literally, you've completely lost the whole point of, you can't learn anything from that. You have to understand it's a metaphor. Like sometimes metaphors are not understood or they're debated, and you can debate what the metaphor means. But to simply just not acknowledge that it's a metaphor and that it's literal and there's nothing there's no lesson in it, there's no allegory in it. Well, okay, you're just going to be stuck at base consciousness if you take it literally. And sometimes that's done intentionally. They want people to stay at base consciousness. So you talk about building a third temple. Well, the temple is never meant to be literal. And what is the temple? It's the temple of your head, on either side of your head. It's a graphic that I found on Revival of Wisdom. Yeah, so he's on, I didn't even know, I got this from a Google search, but I didn't realize it was from Revival of Wisdom. He's on, I recommend, he has good esoteric knowledge. I do follow him on Instagram. I only now noticed that this is where this came from. But yeah, that's what the temple is. It's the temple of the head. And this is from Corinthians, from the Bible, Corinthians, the book of Corinthians 3:17. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. You are the temple. It's not external. People, so that's what's really lost when you take things literally. Because if you take it literally, that means the things you take literally are external. And you completely, and the thing you lose most, which is tragic, and it's actually stated in this biblical verse, is you miss where the real power is. It's with you. It's within. He even says in Genesis 3:22, now man has become as one of us. And it was as God said. God said, man has become as one of us. That's from God. So if you want to externalize everything and just refuse to accept that these are metaphors, what are the metaphors telling? They're telling you how powerful you are. It points to you. You're the temple. It's not a building. If there is a physical building and they do build one, that is nothing but an absolute abomination and nothing positive about that. You are the temple. It's not a literal place. It's in the Bible. Which temple ye are. You are. And it's for the temple of God, holy, and it's you, your temple. And where are the twin pillars of the temple? Here are the twin pillars. The left and right hemispheres, these are the twin pillars. The right hemisphere of the brain being the feminine, and the left being the masculine. So when you talk about the union of masculine and feminine, this is actually the principle behind sex magic, but I'm pretty sure people who get involved in sex magic often lose track of, I don't know, maybe some are effective sex magicians. I mean, it's pretty easy in your material 3D form with your five senses to just lose track, and you're in it for something else, I guess. But nonetheless, this is what the union of male and female is. This is what's behind sex magic. It's the symbolism of it. It's the two principles. And again, they got rid of the feminine Ella. That's been gotten rid of since Babylon. It's no longer balanced. It's only male. The female has been removed. The female is the right brain, which is things like creativity, imagination, intuition, insight. Those are the feminine, and it crisscrosses. So the right side of your right side of your brain controls your left hand. The left side of your brain controls your right hand, and the left hand is the masculine part, the left hemisphere, which is thought, logic, language. It's memorizing. If you can memorize math, sequences, patterns, that's the left brain. The other thing about the left side of the brain is when the left side of the brain receives information, it accepts every bit of information it receives as true. It doesn't analyze. It accepts everything it receives as true, which is why children grow up. The first thing that develops is their left side of their brain, because the reason is they need to learn language primarily, how to communicate and just memorize things, just know how to, know what everything's called and how to speak is the priority. So a child believes everything you tell a child. That's because the right side of the brain does not develop until later. People who are left brain dominant will believe everything. They're pretty gullible. Analysis and considering other perspectives, and then just contemplating other possibilities. Now it's no longer, like memorizing. Now you're on your own to contemplate. That's the right brain. And when The ideal is to be balanced. So these are the twin pillars, and this is the temple, and that's the Baphomet. So, and those are the lovers, the male and the female. That's the lovers of the tarot, and the name Glover of Artemis too. It relates to lovers, Glover lovers. And so there's a lover symbolism in the news right now. Mike Vrabel, he's the head coach of the New England Patriots, who just lost in the Super Bowl to the Seattle Supersonics. And this lover symbolism is very prominent. This is the latest story. You can see it's dated for April 22nd. How can it be April 22nd? April 21st. This is actually from a website from India. So it is April 22nd in India, but they got the story from the United States today, latest. This is still ongoing. Mike Vrabel, he's been caught in allegations of having an affair with his wife. It's just lover symbolism. It's scripted. I believe this is all scripted. I doubt this looks like scripted to me. I mean, so she's been through a lot. That's what Mike Vrabel said, because he was asked to talk about how his wife is dealing with this scandal, because Mike Vrabel has been pictured with this young reporter, and her name is Diana Rossini. This is you'll see how this all ties in with what's been going on in the news lately. This is the lovers, Glover from Artemis 2. The name Diana, where does the name Diana come from? Diana is the Roman moon goddess. And what's the Greek equivalent? So it came first with Greece. Rome picked up from Greece. So Rome named this goddess Diana. What was she originally called in Greece? Artemis. So this is how it ties in with Artemis 2. Diana is Artemis. And we have the Artemis 2. And Vrabel is who's having an affair. This is all about the lovers having an affair with Diana, the moon goddess. It all ties in. The moon, Artemis, Diana is actually the Roman version of Artemis, the lovers, male, female, Baphomet, twin pillars. It's all there. And so it's interesting, the wording here in this article. A few years ago in an interview, as Mike Vrabel explained how his wife has been a strong pillar of support. They choose their words carefully. Why would he use that term? That his wife is a strong pillar. What's your strong pillar? Male, female. That's why he used that word in that. It's all there. I mean, when you see the symbolism, it's all there. And this is some of the bits. It's a little small here, you can see, but these are the pictures that have caused the scandal. They knew I suspect. Do I have proof? No. I suspect, it's my theory. It's all set up. They're there for the cameras to take the picture, because if you look at the details as I'm showing here, they use the word pillar. They know what they're doing. She's wearing black. Black is the yin, white is the yang. Yin is female, yang is male. So of course she's wearing white and she's wearing black. So when you see these details, this is I don't know, whatever they're doing, it's trying to influence human consciousness is what they're doing. So yeah, they're there. The camera was there. It's all set up. They were told, you're here. Cameraman's ready, or camerawoman, whoever was ready to take the picture, start the scan. It's part of being part of the club. And boy, has Mike Vrabel quoted on so many levels. But that's her name, Diana Rossini. Diana is Artemis, the moon goddess, as we go to the moon. So they say, whether they did or not, nonetheless, that's the symbolism. Just real quick. So this happened at the Super Bowl, where Mac Hollins, wide receiver, showed up with Mike Vrabel's high school jersey. And his high school is Walsh Jesuit in Ohio, is Mike Vrabel. And his jersey is retired by Walsh Jesuit. And Mac Hollins warmed up at the Super Bowl for the Patriots with a Mike Vrabel throwback jersey from Walsh Jesuit in Ohio. And they're called Walsh Jesuit Warriors. And this is very significant because I talked about that the ad that was played at the Super Bowl. It's an ad that's encouraging youth coaches, football youth coaches around the country. And the team that they use just happened to be called the Warriors in the footage. I can show that real quick. Just a small snippet. I don't have the entire video, but I'll just show a snippet of that just real quick. Super Bowl. Oh no, that's not. This is something else. Let me see here. I have it here. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Belief is my superpower.
It has moved mountains.
It has put a man on the moon.
I believe in myself even when others doubt me.
Yeah, so that's
NASA's media.
that's the commercial that was played at the Super Bowl. When you see, he said it has put a man on the moon. That was in the Super Bowl. It's all tied in with the Artemis, and this was the coach with the Warriors. This was played at the Super Bowl. So Victor Glover had already been chosen at that time, and I did talk last week about some of the images in that commercial where Victor Glover was his image was shown there. But so the Warriors movie, 1979 cult classic, is a movie called The Warriors, and it inspired the New England Patriots in their Super Bowl run. Last season, the New England Patriots were undefeated on the road. They were the Road Warriors, and they used this movie, The Warriors, as their inspiration. And I will show that clip real quick. The Warriors, just to put it in context. It's a 1979 cult classic which inspired the New England Patriots. Last season, they're the Road Warriors. Sorry. This is a scene from The Warriors.
Warriors, come out to play.
Warrior! Come out and play!
Yeah, belief is.
So you see how the New England Patriots. So that rally there with Mike Vrabel, that was a send-off rally. So they had a rally before the Super Bowl where the Patriots. I didn't know they even had these pre-Super Bowl parades, but apparently it's kind of like a pre-Super Bowl parade where the fans will send off the Patriots to the Super Bowl. And that just shows you the impact that movie had. This is a very iconic scene of Warriors come out and play. Mac Hollins has imitated that. They did it throughout the season because they're the Road Warriors and they just happen to be undefeated on the road. And it's all based on the movie. And Mike Vrabel's high school just happens to have been named Warriors. And then the NFL just happens to have done an ad about promoting high school or just youth coaches. And they just happen to use Warriors, which is the exact same uniform and colors as the Warriors Walsh Jesuit of Mike Vrabel. But that parade just shows you, as a pre-Super Bowl parade, showed you the impact that this movie had on the New England Patriots. And it's also on the consciousness of football fans this season. That movie was very important. It's a cult classic, and it just real quick, I'll wrap it up real quick. I can do down the road. There's so much going on. A decode of the movie The Warriors, and there's esoteric symbolism again in that movie. But just a little synopsis of the movie. This is from Wikipedia. The Warriors, again from 1979. In the film, a street gang must escape from the Bronx. To the Bronx, New York. The Bronx is in the north of New York City. Back to their home turf on Coney Island. Coney Island is in Brooklyn. It's in the southeast of New York City. So they have to get from the north of New York City to the southeast of New York City. They have to run through New York City, and they have to run through a gauntlet of gangs who all pretty much want to kill them or attack them. And that's why they're the Road Warriors. So that's the metaphor that the New England Patriots were making. Like, we've got to get through a gauntlet of road games this season, and they did it. They went undefeated, and they used that film. And clearly, this was all rigged. I do not think this is organic at all, that they won all those games on merit. It was rigged. It was rigged. It was rigged to the movie. The movie lines up with his high school. His high school even has the same colors as the Warriors gang in the movie. It all lines up too perfectly. It appears to be scripted. It can't not be scripted. And so the reason Coney Island ties into what Myron had said, because Myron had brought up the movie He Got Game, where there's the title, the main character. I mean, Denzel Washington's the star of the movie, but Ray Allen, he starred the biggest moments of his career was with the Boston Celtics. Ray Allen, the NBA player, he starred in that movie as Jesus Shuttleworth, but he was from Coney Island, which was Lincoln High School, there's a real high school in Brooklyn, Lincoln High, and it does produce a lot of great basketball players. It's considered like one of the great basketball producing high schools in New York City. It's in Brooklyn, Coney Island's in Brooklyn. So it is a reference to a real high school, but it's on Coney Island. And Coney Island, that was the connection. As soon as I saw Myron's Decode, which he shared with me on Instagram, as soon as I saw it, when I saw Coney Island, first thing I thought was the Warriors and how it tied in with the Super Bowl. They have to get back to Coney Island. And the metaphor with getting back to Coney Island is home. That's where they started. Now they're stuck in the Bronx and they have to get back home. The metaphor there has to do with getting out of the Israelites getting out of the promised land. They were in the promised land. They left the promised land. They were exiled in Egypt. Then they had to return back to the promised land. That's actually the metaphor in the Warriors. So Coney Island is the promised land and the Bronx is Egypt. I'll leave it there. I'll just one last thing is one gang in the movie The Warriors. They actually are dressed like the New York Yankees. And I just got a clip here from Faith that said, don't call yourself a fan of Major League Baseball unless you can identify this team. This is from the 1979 movie, The Warriors. So this is a gang that carry baseball bats and they dress like the New York Yankees. And another thing about them is they don't talk. They're completely silent. And they're one of the teams that they have to survive. And they're called the Baseball Furies is the name of this. It's a cult classic and it's relevant to what's happening today in sports and in popular culture. I can add more, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, that was a lot, Rambo. I mean, mind-blowing stuff. I mean, I could just listen to you all night, honestly.
Yeah, thanks. I don't want to, take up too much time. I'll let everybody have their say.
Yeah, no, I mean, just great overlap with, I think the space stuff and the sex magic stuff you were talking about tying in with NASA. It made me think like, Ani does a lot of great work on the Moonchild stuff. And obviously Myron's just been killing it in his own front. But yeah, and you guys want to add to what Rambo had to share?
Yeah, like from a sports perspective, definitely like every time Rambo, because I never really look into MJ, but Jordan has so much stuff that Rambo is always pointing out. But even like with him pointing out the plane crash and then Jordan winning in the Delta Center, like he stated, but also this Artemis and space thing, the time periods between Jordan's first 3 championships and his last 3 championships, the NBA champions were the Rockets. So just that like space thing continuing and tying into Jordan is the only time another team was able to win when Jordan was dominating the league was the Rockets. And of course they was led by someone with the nickname The Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon as well. So man, just great stuff again as always, man.
Yeah, thank you. Those are great additions. I'm taking notes on that.
And MJ, like Michael Jackson, the Moonwalker, and then Michael Jordan was in Space Jam. It's all right there.
And what is Michael Jackson known for? The glove. He wore one glove.
Yeah.
He ties into Glover, Victor Glover, the Artemis. He's the one glove.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordan has a championship over the glove. You talk about Diana. Well, the big death was Princess Diana during Jordan's three-peat. In 97, Princess Diana dies there. And then even with the sex magic stuff, his teammate Dennis Rodman was like unbelievable, like just flamboyant and just outrageous, like wearing wedding dresses and all kind of things. But he was huge with like a sex, not so much a sex symbol, but just promoting sex in pop culture as well. And that was like a big teammate of Jordan as well.
Yeah, he did do the cross-dressing thing as well, Dennis Rodman, with makeup and everything. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Baphomet symbol. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gary Payton, the glove playing for Seattle, home of the Space Needle, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, Cody or Ani, Cody, you guys out there?
Yeah, the Dennis Rodman thing was what I would call the Sabbatean Frankism, the inversion aspect to it all. That's what the Illuminati is actually based on, or secret society is based on, the Sabbatean Frankism. And Dennis Rodman was definitely one of those people to bring that image based using sports as the lightning rod to present that to the world, doing crazy antics. But there was a lot there, Rambo. Could have commented on, especially with Jack Parsons relative to the Moonchild workings. One thing I'll point out is that the first moon mission was called Apollo 11. Now you have Artemis 2. So you still have the two Freemasonic pillars, and both in Apollo and Artemis are twins in mythology. So it's a reflection of one another. And the theme I've been teaching my audience with Trump and going back to the Hunter Biden whole thing. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt, and Trump keeps calling himself, the hunter. And there's a movie or a Netflix series, that a TV series that just came out called The Hunt recently. And I've been seeing an increasing theme of TV series and movies having the hunt in it over the past couple of years. And what's interesting about it is that ICE is in, and ICE is about hunting down immigrants. And it's all symbolic and correlated to what ritual elitist parties are all about. They have these hunts that occur yearly, and now you have this big ritual with America with the hunt as well, and you have this space mission named after a goddess correlated to the hunt. But going back to the Moonchild thing, my definition, because I'm coming out with a book this year breaking down just a new philosophical viewpoint of the Moonchild, I look at it as a conscious vessel, a consciously engineered soul vessel or archetypal being formed through ritual, psychology, and intention to carry, amplify, and project a specific spiritual or energetic force into reality. That is my definition of what the Moonchild is. And I feel like all of these people on the world stage are different types or species of moon children being used by the elite. So all of the figures within the Artemis 2 mission, each of them plays a different archetypal role of playing the Moonchild. And Jack Parsons, he's responsible of one of the most famous Moonchild workings up under Aleister Crowley. And what Rambo highlighted with the sex magic is very quintessential to what this whole thing is about. And one of the most popular things this year is, of course, Epstein and the files being released is the sexual aspect of the secret societies and what they do with it. So I have a lot more, but I want to spin off into other topics and discussions. I just want to keep it right there.
Yeah, so I do touch on some of that, what you mentioned in my video. It's a 30-minute video. And I do talk the Apollo Artemis, the twins, the male-female twins. Yeah, that was right up front.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah, and also with Moonchild, and also shout out, via KODI. KODI said that Sean Desad pointed out that MC is Moonchild. So shout out Sean Desad. And shout out KODI for shouting out Desad, because I just want to give credit to where it came from. The MC connected to Moonchild, and boy, has that really, the MC thing has really, it's been a revelation. The mug MC, I showed how that showed up at the Olympics, but yeah. So the Apollo Artemis male female twins, the twin pillars. This is also in Star Wars. Princess Leia. And remember the name of I showed you the NASA spokeswoman, whose name is Mustachio, because you see the play on words, a woman with her last name Mustachio. Her name is Leia. Leia Mustachio is her name. Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker are twins. So there's another male-female twin pillars theme. But yeah, that's my video is a half an hour. It's entitled "The Magic of Artemis 2." And that was just an excerpt. Yeah, there's a lot more the detail.
Cody, I see you had your screen share request. Did you want me to give you the screen? Sean says thanks for the shout out.
Did you say something to me, AJ?
Yeah, Cody, I saw that you had a request at least to, add your screen to the stage. Did you want me to give you the floor? I don't know if there was something you wanted to add on.
Well, I was just letting everyone get in. I don't have anything specifically to add to this part, but I had mine up. I don't really have a whole lot, to be honest. I don't know if Myron wants to also. I don't know who's short on time or if anyone else has anything to add to this current topic, so I was just kind of waiting around to see.
Yeah, no, it's no worries at all. I think we're all just kind of treading lightly. We don't want to step on each other's toes, so it's all good. We all have the floor when it's necessary. So.
Yeah, I don't want to hog the limelight. I was stepping back, but I see Cody's not really. I can always add more. I mean, I don't want to. But I mean,
I was just going to say, with kind of the end of at least what you've shared so far, Rambo, kind of segueing into the Warriors stuff. I know that Myron has done a lot of work lately with the CM Punk and connections with the Warriors and Steph Curry. Maybe it would be a good little transition for Myron to share some of his visuals, and I'm sure we're going to see it all boomerang back.
Oh yeah, I think Myron. If Myron has things to share, yeah.
Just go ahead. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
All right. I know we didn't discuss the kind of the order, Myron, on the back end, but
right.
You just you can just backseat drive, and I'll take the wheel.
Okay. We can just start with the side by side of like CM Punk and Steph Curry again.
Where was it? It was right
there. We go. One more up. There we go. All right. So couple weeks. This is maybe like 3 weeks in now. Of just discussing the symbolism and the connections which align not only with CM Punk and Steph Curry, but with CM Punk and the Golden State Warriors, as well as CM Punk to the city of San Francisco. Just the Phoenix theme we touched on last week is kind of where I will pick up on, but just the recap of like the go to sleep of CM Punk and his ties to Steph Curry using the same gestures, and his ring gear like extremely similar to the symbolism of the Golden State Warriors. The last thing last week I did touch on and kind of finished on was like involvement of the Phoenix. So I'll pick up there. We can go to CM Punk being on All the Smoke podcast.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Okay, so just to pick up here, because someone, when I made that initial post on Instagram, the Gematria Altum pointed out that CM Punk's birthday was 10/26, and then in the Jewish cipher, Steph Curry's name equates to 10/26 as well. And of course, if you remove the 0, you get 126 from it. And of course, 126, we all know that ties into one of Kobe Bryant's numbers because that's his death date. After our stream, the same day last week, CM Punk was on All the Smoke. And I thought this was very telling, and it was kind of like foreshadowing of what was to come from what we already discussed. Because Kobe Bryant, of course, his last main podcast before his death, or his last time on camera, really sharing his opinions and ideas, was on this podcast called All the Smoke. So Kobe was on there maybe like 2 weeks before he passed. And then after Kobe was Steph Curry. So Steph Curry was on All the Smoke 3 days before the death of Kobe Bryant. And of course, Kobe died on 1/26. CM Punk, I looked at it, I clicked on the video. He's a wrestler, of course, but they're trying to bring wrestling back into pop culture, like singing them on ESPN and things like that, trying to just increase the viewership because the product is not as good as it was like in the 90s, but they're still just trying to collaborate with like rappers and actors. It's always been like that. But as soon as you click on the stream of All the Smoke, you can see that the runtime is an hour and 26 minutes, the 126. And again, like that was Kobe Bryant's last podcast. And then the Phoenix, which burns in ashes, like that's kind of like how Kobe Bryant died. Like he went up in flames connecting to the Phoenix. So CM Punk in the morning, he's on this podcast. The very next day is the Golden State Warriors game in Los Angeles. They play in Los Angeles, and of course you see the Warriors, they score 126 points, but it was like I said, it's all about storytelling. When the Warriors came out, Steph Curry, he has his own shoe line. He's not signed to Nike, but he played in the Kobe's that game. So when he came out, he's wearing Kobe's. I'm just like, man, the Warriors are going to end up scoring 126 points. And very much like that's the score that they landed on. And the shoes that Steph Curry wore, that was like his fade to black Kobe's. And those were the Kobe's that was released before the death of Kobe Bryant as well on 126. And just a fitting time for the Warriors to score 126. CM Punk to come out on the same podcast where Kobe was last seen, with an hour and 26 minute stream. And then, of course, Steph Curry being in Los Angeles wearing the Kobe's, Kobe dying in Los Angeles, and then them advancing. So once they beat the Clippers in the play-in game, their next opponent was Phoenix. So it was just a perfect alignment and everything, like, and it immediately followed our last podcast. So that was just something that I wanted to lead in with the intro, leading up, of course, to like WrestleMania weekend as well with CM Punk.
The Clippers also have a Kobe, isn't it? Kobe Sanders.
Yeah, they
on the Clippers.
and maybe like a month or so ago, we tied in the Kobe Bryant, his death day. I believe Darius Garland has that birthday as well. Mm-hmm. His birthday is on 126.
I'm pretty sure the Clippers had two Kobe's actually on the team, but before the deadline, they traded one of them.
Yeah, I believe so. Okay, we can go.
Which one you want next? Yeah.
We can go to the CM Punk where he's hanging upside down with the tarot card.
Oh, dude, I don't know if did you send that one to me? I remember you posted.
Okay, I might not have connected it, but just at WrestleMania, of course, he's going in. CM Punk, he was kind of hanging upside down, and it was equivalent to the Hangman tarot card. I took a screenshot of it, but I didn't include it in the clip, so I won't touch on that. But we just to keep things going with the Phoenix. So CM Punk is age 47. So CM Punk is 47 years old. He was going into WrestleMania. He was fighting Roman Reigns, of course. That is the correlation to Rome. And that's who he fell to. So the Golden State Warriors, they fell to Phoenix. And then the very next night or 2 nights later, CM Punk kind of fell to Rome at age 47. And Phoenix right now, in the upcoming draft, they do have the 47th pick in the NBA draft. So their 47th pick, the 47th pick will belong to the Phoenix Suns. And this ties in, like I said, to the Phoenix connections, because in 47 AD is when the Phoenix was introduced to Rome. So the Phoenix comes from Egypt and it lands in Rome in 47 AD. So just the symbolism of Rome and crashing, CM Punk falling to Rome at age 47, the Golden State Warriors being in San Francisco now with the San Francisco flag being a phoenix, and now it all coming full circle and kind of like being a reenactment of Rome in AD 47. So you can go to the one with the Phoenix Suns now, that one. So just to tie and connect to Phoenix, Phoenix's 47th NBA season is the 2014-2015 season. And that was the beginning of Golden State's pretty much like their run at dominating the NBA. So Phoenix's 47th season as a franchise was pretty much the birth of the golden era or the Golden State Warriors. So the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry won the unanimous MVP in 2014-15, and then they became a dynasty from there. And they just started dominating the league and changing the NBA. But that started during Phoenix's 47th season. And on the left, was the start of pretty much like CM Punk becoming a popular figure. And in 2014 as well is when CM Punk first walked away from the WWE. So this was a lot of symbolism and another connection between CM Punk and the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry, because these two had pretty much a rise to tie into Phoenix, because that's what the Phoenix does. It burns in its ashes and it kind of resurrects itself and rises. And the reason why I'm paying attention to the number 47 is because in 47 AD, when the Phoenix was introduced in Rome, was considered the golden era in Rome as well. And now to come full circle is Phoenix, they eliminated the Golden State Warriors. So the start of the Golden State Warriors era was their 47th season in Phoenix. And then the end of the Golden State Warriors is because they were eliminated from playoff contention by Phoenix. And now this is the end of the last two people, Draymond Green and Steph Curry, and their head coach, Steve Kerr, because they're saying Steve Kerr might not be the coach of the Warriors anymore. So it was kind of like the fall or the end of the golden era for the Golden State Warriors. And it came at a time where CM Punk also lost his title on the biggest stage at WrestleMania as well.
I see a lot of polarity with that, kind of going back to what Rambo opened up with the Baphomet, and ironically enough, San Francisco, home of the Church of Satan, founded on the death date of Hitler and Mr. Glover, the astronaut, right?
Yeah.
I had a quick question, Myron. Is this a new Phoenix Suns logo? Or
I want to say it might be new, or I don't know what logo. It is a Suns logo, but I don't know what year this was the logo. But it does come up as a Phoenix for them in their logo.
Shout out to Golden Age really quick, just mentioning about your All the Smoke slide, that Matt Barnes and Steve Jackson were both part of that We Believe Warriors team.
Yes, sir. Yes, they were.
Yeah. But I had one other observation, kind of going back to Rambo's stuff about, yin and yang, sun and moon, male, female, etc. This is the first time I've ever noticed this. Do you notice that there's a moon symbolism in the Suns logo?
Mm-mm.
If you look really closely, there's a moon in there. Do you see the crescent moon?
There's a crescent. Yeah. What this reminds me of is the tarot card on the Rider-Waite of the moon. If you look at the moon, I don't know if you can switch or stick here, but if you look at, since you brought this up,
the
tarot card, the moon in Rider-Waite, it has that. It has it's really the moon merged with the sun. It's really a sun symbol with a crescent moon. Yes, I didn't notice that, but since you pointed out, that's actually where you see a similar image, is the moon tarot card.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me pull it up really quick. Let's see.
I can pull it up if you want. I got it.
Got it right here. But yeah, Cody, if you want to just kind of be ready, it'll just help because I'm managing the slides. So I appreciate that. You talking about this one right here, Rambo?
Yes, you can see it's a sun symbol, but the moon crescent is inside the sun. It's very similar.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, because look, there's Phoenix Suns logo. I had never seen that before. But yeah, the sun or the basketball, right? It's got that little shade crescent moon in there. Huh. Yeah, I didn't want to get us too off topic, but I thought talking about space and whatnot, I thought that was kind of
funny. Definitely.
Let me get the slides back here really quick. Anything else from the group at this point for now? If not, no
I'll
worries.
just say real quick, 47 is a. Oh, sorry, Cody. Cody, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's fine, Rambo. I was gonna say I have stuff to add once Myron's done with the. Yeah, you can give Myron back, let him finish, because like I said, of course I've got stuff to add with the wrestling, the stuff that I covered already, but I'll add to what he's talking about here.
Definitely, yeah. I think we're getting close.
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
I just want to say real quick about the 47, why 47 is so significant with the Phoenix Suns. The sun symbol in 47 is significant because the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, which is the summer solstice and the winter solstice, are separated by 47 degrees. So that's the most significant. It's a very significant number in relation to the sun. So that's the difference in degrees from the sun at its highest point and at its lowest point in the year. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So yeah, Myron, we had a couple others here. We had this one.
Yeah, this was just again like CM Punk. His career is extremely scripted and calculated. But these two, Emperor Julius Caesar was extremely popular in Rome, as well as Claudius. And Claudius was the emperor during 47 AD when the Phoenix was introduced in Rome during Rome's golden era. But the guy, again, like the symbolism, the guy next to CM Punk, who is a wrestler again, he goes by Claudio. His real name, Claudio Castagnoli, but his wrestling name when he was in WWE was Cesaro as well. So two like Roman figures tied into the name. So the night that CM Punk first left the WWE, he was scheduled to fight this man named Cesaro, who's real. But I just thought that was another, I guess we can call it coincidence, even though nothing is coincidence, to tie into two huge Roman figures of Julius Caesar and then Claudius as well on the right.
Susan says it's kind of fitting just with Michigan winning the college basketball tournament. I'm watching for something in Michigan. Detroit Airport is in Romulus, Michigan. Interesting. Yeah, Myron, I think we have all the slides. We did have the go to sleep slide here.
Yeah, just kind of like the end of the era. Again, like the Phoenix resurrects itself, like the symbolism of Jesus. And then, of course, I always have to get my Bible theme in there with the connections to the 47. The fall of Babylon is emphasized in Isaiah 47 again, and that's kind of like symbolic to the times, even though like Israel is considered an ally of America right now. The fall of Babylon is discussed in Isaiah 47 as well as in Revelations because of just idolatry and what was going on and how everyone was being treated in Israel in connections to Egypt. And of course, the Phoenix is a figure that derives from Egypt, but it made its way to Rome.
Golden Age is cooking too. I haven't seen this yet in the news, but Todd Golden might potentially be the next Golden State coach. That's crazy.
Head coach.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
Well, this is the last one, I think, was just
kind of the just again, like Trump all over the news. The fall of Babylon, Trump, again, our 47th president. This is for whatever reason, like we've been covering the Bible themes of the NBA and just saying like there's a huge ritual going on against the Bible. And now Trump is scheduled, well, I believe it was today, of him like reading passages of the Bible, AI photos coming out of him like as Jesus or depicting him as Jesus. A lot of people think he's like the Antichrist and things like that, but just like the Jesus and the resurrection thing tying back into the Phoenix, because is pretty much symbolic of what the Phoenix does. It dies in its ashes or in the fire, and then it resurrects itself every certain amount of years to come back.
Well, beautiful work as always, Myron. Once again, you guys, if you guys want to go back and revisit some of these things, Myron, I believe you have these saved, right, on your stories?
Yes,
on
yes,
your
everything's
Instagram?
saved.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
Cool. Yeah. So make sure to go back and revisit this, you guys. This is something Myron's been working on for quite a while. This is only just the next chapter of it, right? More to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. But anything else from the group before we pass it off to Cody as he picks it up? All right, cool. Yeah, Myron, great job, man.
Yeah, so I was just obviously I covered WrestleMania, and so Myron's talking about CM Punk, and again, here's my slide of what happened, and I already covered how. I mean, this all seems to be going back to Pope Leo. So I already, because this is my slide from the video I did. So Roman Reigns, as mentioned, he beat CM Punk, and Roman Reigns regained his title, which again is very symbolic. It's been 106 weeks since he lost it to Cody Rhodes, right after that, or right before the Great American Eclipse. So I think there's a lot of symbolism here for America going down in ashes and being reborn, considering all of this, because again, Pope Leo is the first American Pope. But anyway, CM Punk is a symbol of Chicago. And of course, Pope Leo's from Chicago. And so it makes only sense that Roman Reigns, we talked about this last week, the match itself is a symbol of Pope Leo, 100%, because Pope Leo goes from a guy from Chicago to the head of Rome, and that's what you have here. You have a guy from Chicago going down, and now you have Rome reigning. But even Roman Reigns brought back his song called "The Head of the Table," which equals 145, like Chicago, Illinois, and Roman Reigns is a Catholic symbol. Rome, Catholic, equals 145. And that's a big number with Chicago. And Roman Reigns was born on the 145th day of the year. So he's born on the perfect day for all of this. And even in the Aleister Crowley cipher, English Kabbalah, which I use often now, Roman Reigns even equals 145. And then if you combine Roman Reigns' name with the Catholic Church, it also equals 145. That might be a coincidence, but might not be. But the point here is, going back to what Myron's been talking about, with CM Punk losing and his connection to Steph Curry, I just happened to run the dates between Steph Curry and CM Punk, and look at what you get. You get Pope Leo's birthday. So that's between CM Punk and Steph Curry. And we've already established their connection, or Myron's already established that connection. And so coincidence that they're born 9 years, 140 days apart. Pope Leo's born on 9/14. And again, from Chicago, which goes back to Michael Jordan. But the other big thing in here is not only are Steph Curry and CM Punk born 925 days apart, or 914 apart. If you run the measurement of Pope Leo's birth to CM Punk's birth, you get a bit of a hidden 1026 in here. Again, as mentioned, Steph Curry equals 1026 in Latin, and CM Punk's birthday is 126 or 1026, and this is a similar number to 1026. So that's in between Pope Leo and CM Punk. But more importantly, in between Pope Leo and CM Punk is 8443 days, and that's the 1056 prime. And 1056 is really a perfect number between the two Chicago guys. Leo, and Punk, because 1056 is the gematria of Chicago, Illinois. And last week we ended up getting on a whole riddle with Back to the Future. And I've already did a whole video connecting Pope Leo to Back to the Future. He was chosen, Pope Leo, partially. I mean, part of his riddle is his clear connection to Back to the Future, the Chicago connection to those movies. Chicago Cubs are in those movies. And again, CM Punk is a symbol of Chicago. So, I mean, what are the odds that these two Chicago guys, born 1056 prime apart, and Chicago, Illinois, 1056, but Back to the Future equals 1056. And Time Traveler. And, of course, Donald J. Trump, that gematria as well. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, again, these things by the numbers. You know, some people on the decoding community might call this crazy. Specifically one guy who did a video about me this week. But like I said, I mean, we're looking at these long date durations between births, and we're realizing that these truly are moonchilds. These dates are, as I've proven 1,000 times over, and Derek and other people, I mean, these dates are perfectly chosen. And again, CM Punk just lost to Rome, and I just made this connection, and now that the numbers even line up perfectly with that. And as I mentioned before, you know, 1056 being the gematria of Chicago, Illinois. As I showed in my video, just to touch quickly on Roman Reigns, his birth, and again, he run WrestleMania 42. The Vatican's found on the 42nd day of the year. The same day the Beast retires, Brock Lesnar retires from wrestling. So the Beast retires at the beginning of the show and Rome reigns at the end. So the Beast reigns. It's 42 months is the amount of time the Beast reigns in the Bible. Roman Reigns was 40 years, 47 weeks, and 1 day old. 40-47-1 is the 40-42 prime. So that's how old he was. He was the 40-42 prime. And again, Vatican found on the 42nd day of the year. But again, just to reiterate, the Beast reigns for 42 months. And just check out the duration between Pope Leo and Roman Reigns. And again, this is perfect. I mean, Roman Reigns was a star before Pope Leo even took the scene. But look at how Pope Leo is born 10,847 days before Roman Reigns. And this is just perfect because 10,847 is the 1318th prime, which takes us right back to the most popular number or most popular verse in Revelation about the number of the beast, which is Revelation 13:18. Again, this is, to me, this is so mind-blowing in general, just for the fact that there's only one guy in the whole world named Roman Reigns. And there's only one guy who's reigning over Rome right now. And as I showed, WrestleMania 42 is connected to the Beast reigning for 42 months. And these two guys just happen to have the perfect duration to go between them. Which just shows you how important, once again, that wrestling's world stage is. Again, we have The Rock on the world stage. Again, Peter was, again, don't forget, Roman Reigns is the cousin of The Rock. And Peter, the first pope, was the rock that Jesus built his church on. So this all goes back to the rock. But again, Roman Reigns, the perfect moonchild for this ritual. And now that he's reigning again, you know, when he started his first reign, guys, we got coronavirus, literally. So just be prepared. And again, this is probably more about the war than anything with the Beast and the War 42. Because, again, earlier in the show, we had the ruler. And again, just to reiterate how I did a video about the nuclear connection. I'm not going to go over all of it here, but right before WrestleMania, I pointed out that The first match of WrestleMania Sunday was the Beast Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi, the ruler. And Obafemi called himself the Destroyer. And the Destroyer is, and so did Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer said, "I become death, the destroyer of worlds," when he set off the bomb. And then Oba was depicted as the Destroyer. So I did a whole video on that connection. And then during the match between Obama and Brock, the announcer literally said, "They're dropping their nuclear bombs." And I've never heard that before. And this goes back to what Myron was talking about. Myron was talking about, before I even talked about the nuclear, before I even did this video, we were talking about CM Punk and he's famous for the pipe bomb. So the way WrestleMania started was with this reference to the nuclear bomb. And again, don't forget, Nevada is the state where the most nuclear bombs have been tested. That's where this WrestleMania took place. And then Oppenheimer's birthday is tomorrow. And whose birthday is Oppenheimer's birthday? Well, it would just happen to be Obafemi, who called himself the Destroyer. Just to reiterate how perfect this is. Let me find it here. I can't find it now. Hold on. So yeah, Obafemi, the guy who called himself the Destroyer, he's born on the 94th birthday of Oppenheimer. And again, when I saw when I saw that it was on his 94th, or was on his, that they shared the same birthday, I was like, okay, well, that's big. But not only did they share the same birthday, 94 years apart. And this is a number I've covered extensively with Oppenheimer, because first of all, J. Robert Oppenheimer equals 94. And Oppenheimer used the 94th element on the periodic table to create his bomb. And so, again, what is the odds of this? And again, this guy, if you look at his entrance, he has cracks in his entrance video. It's like an earthquake, looks like an earthquake, in my opinion. And the day after Obafemi and Roman Reigns won, there was an earthquake in Japan. Where did we drop the bombs? On Japan. And again, Japan equals 42. It was WrestleMania 42. Luckily, the earthquake wasn't as damaging as it could have been. But I would imagine that in the future, this probably leads to a bigger earthquake that connects to this. What was really mind-blowing, too, if you measure from this show called The Decision to Drop the Bomb, and what's interesting about that, this came out on the Golden Gate Bridge construction anniversary. So going back to what Myron's been talking about with the Golden State Warriors, the Golden Gate Bridge, January 5th, 1965, that would have been the anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge construction beginning on January 5th, 1933, I believe. So from that date to the birth of Obafemi, to this, and Oppenheimer was in this show, by the way, the Decision to Drop the Bomb. It was 1904 Plutonian days. Again, we're measuring with Pluto. And 1904 is the birth year of Oppenheimer. Are you kidding me? And again, I don't often use Plutonian days, but I think this just, maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know, but I doubt it. Because that's the year he was born. So, and again, all week I've been talking about Apollyon because Revelation 9:11 is about Apollyon. We just had the Artemis moon mission. Apollo is the brother of Artemis, the twin. So it's actually perfect because the twin towers 9/11. Last week, Donald Trump made a post which equaled 1442 in the same cipher as the total verse of Revelation 9:11. So that's crazy. And then that was about him destroying Iran. And then we had this Angels player, right? I connected. He caught the ball. He fell into the pit. His name equals Apollyon. And the phoenix could be Apollyon because the phoenix rising out of the ashes, kind of rising out of hell. You know, Apollyon in the Bible rises. He is the angel of the bottomless pit. And what's really blown my mind is that I realized this number is super significant with Apollyon because in Latin, Apollyon equals 641. And in Greek, Apollyon equals 1461. So there's something with these digits. Well, last week, on the day this Angels player died, and again, shout out to Balll Don't Lie for AJ for pointing this out when he did, because this led to this. Because again, Drake dropped the bomb in Toronto on the same day that Garrett Anderson died. And Garrett Anderson played for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which equals Apollyon. And even these guys' birthdays are perfectly apart. 14 years, 16 weeks, 4 days, the same digits that I'm bringing up here. But then I found out, and I connected this all to Obama, right? Obafemi Obama was depicted as the destroyer. And what I just found out today, just to add to this, if you look at Obama's birth certificate, I mean, Barack Obama, his full name equals Apollyon in Latin, which is improbable because this is a cipher that's very hard to get a match. But not, again, Apollyon equals 1461, which are the same digits in Latin or in Greek. But look at the number on Barack Obama's birth certificate. It's literally the number I've been talking about. I didn't even know this. I didn't even know this when I made this connection. But yeah, 10,641. 641 is his gematria, which goes with Apollyon. And if you read this number backwards, it's 1,461. Well, what's Apollyon in Greek? 1,461. Now, if you take away the twin towers from Obama's name, he has a twin tower after his name. He has the 2 ones. His name sums to, let me find it. 1 second. I got so many slides here, I can't even keep them all together. But if you take his full name, you remove the 2, the twin towers from his name. Shout out to Sean Desaad for mentioning that. And you get 623. Well, that's the gematria of Apollo or Artemis program, which we just had launch. But in the Strong's Greek Concordance for the Bible, Strong's 623 is Apollyon. So again, this, I don't know what to say about this, but I mean, this is obvious. This, you're taking away his last 2, because his father's name was Barack Hussein Obama. That was his father's name. He just took the 2 on because to differentiate himself from his father. So if you remove that 2, his father's name, Barack Hussein Obama, equals 623, which is Apollyon. I mean, it's ridiculous, really. And again, that's in the same cipher that Apollo Artemis program equals 623. So this whole thing goes back to the destroyer. I went off on a tangent there with the going away from the CM Punk stuff, but at the end of the day, Punk goes back to this same theme because the destruction theme, the pipe bomb, and the Golden Gate Bridge also fits in with this, and it kind of goes back to the Pope stuff as well. The Pope is the bridge builder. But yeah, I think I hit on enough there, basically connecting what Myron was talking about. And just another interesting thing is yesterday we had this shooting at the Pyramid of the Moon. And I mentioned this in my video earlier, but I think this is all pointing to the eclipse next year in Egypt. So you have a shooting in Mexico at a pyramid on the moon. The guy was literally standing on the Pyramid of the Moon when he did this shooting. And it was exactly 67 weeks before the eclipse over the pyramids. Well, total solar eclipse equals 67, like the guy's name, Julio Ramirez, 67. This temple, the Pyramid of the Moon, was supposedly used for blood and human sacrifice, which both equals 67. The guy's name is Julio, which equals 67, like reset. And I did a video last week about Trump's post about the reset and how it connected to this eclipse. I believe the money reset will happen probably between now and this eclipse, or maybe even happens around this eclipse. Notice that even the guy's name, Julio, equals reset in all ciphers. So yeah, that's kind of my other addition with this. And we just had the moon mission. Now we have a guy standing on the pyramid of the moon. So lots going on for sure, especially with the Apollyon stuff and Artemis. And again, the hunter, that I guess that makes sense too. Artemis is the hunter. The guy was literally hunting people from atop the moon. So yeah, the guy's name was, that's a good addition by, I did notice that, but forgot to mention that in my video. The guy's name is literally Julio Caesar, Julius Caesar. I mean, what the heck? I mean, this kind of stuff is just ridiculous. I mean, the guy's name is literally Julius Caesar.
Yeah, and his whole Hitler connection in that story, right?
Well, he even said he admired Hitler. He said it.
Yeah.
And he took him, and he made an AI image of himself with the perpetrators from the column shooting. You guys know what I'm talking about. The shooting that happened exactly 27 years to the day before this 27-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the 27 years to the day before this 27-year-old did this ritual on 27 is the gematria of ritual on a Monday, which equals 27, and he did it on the pyramid of the moon, which equals 27. And again, this is all about the reset of the money, which equals 27. And again, when Trump made this tweet, world's most powerful reset, it equaled 341. The World Economic Forum was founded on the day, leaving 341 days in the year. That they're all about the Great Reset. But this shooter, I did this video, I did this slide last week about 341 and a reset. Now, the shooter that comes in that I just connected to the reset and this eclipse, he was 341 moons old when he did it. And this is important because the eclipse next year will be the 341st lunation of the century. This eclipse that I connected it to will be the 341st moon lunation of the century. So Trump was literally pointing, I believe, to this eclipse with his world's most powerful reset, with his gematria value. And the shooter seems to be pointing to it as well. Because even if you take this guy's name, it equals 327. And if you go from this guy's birth, if he was still alive, because now he's dead, but if he was still alive, he'd be 28 years, 327 days old on the eclipse, and that's his gematria. And again, it's clear just from the pyramid symbolism that this was what this is about. So I think that's all I have for now. If anyone has anything to add or whatever.
Just the symbolism, amazing, like with the numbers that you put together, Cody. The time spans, CM Punk, the Pope, and everything. But yeah, I'm sure just rephrasing what you said, like the weekend itself, like the specific second night of WrestleMania was nothing but storytelling. That's what wrestling always is. But just like you said, the opening match, the Beast falling, and then like the finishing move being called the Fall from Grace. The entire show, it seemed like every character that was demonic won. There's a female wrestler, Rhea Ripley. She's like a punk rock, like goth, very dark. Used to be from the Judgment Day. She won. Finn Balor returned as the Demon. And on commentary, they wouldn't even call him Finn Balor anymore. They're like, the Demon does this, the Demon does that, the Demon. They said it. I've never heard them use the term the Demon so many times for him. Because usually when he wears the paint, they still call him by his real name. But specifically at this event, they just kept calling him the Demon the entire match. It was just a very dark, like, symbolism to end with like Rome being on top for their reign. Like, great stuff, Cody, man. It was great stuff.
I'll be right back, guys.
That's a great addition. Just to mention this because Finn Balor does not dress up as it's his alter ego, but
Yep.
he does not dress up as the demon very often. In fact, I think it's been 3 years or something.
Yeah, I think they said 3.
So, yeah, he comes back dressed up as a demon, and he even looks like the Statue of Liberty. To be honest, what he wears,
Yeah.
This right here, for instance, he sometimes wears this like spiky thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this reminds me of the picture that Trump posted of last week too, where he's looking like the magician tarot card, and he changed the picture, and it looks like the person floating above him. It looks like the Statue of Liberty. Looks like the angel of the bottomless pit. To be honest, I mean, I think this is all Apollyon symbolism. I haven't really ever focused on Apollyon, but it's when you really start looking into it, it seems like they really love this Apollyon, and like this whole symbolism with him like really reminds me of the angel of the bottomless pit. So yeah, just this whole show was very dark. And again, with Roman Reigns even said, he even posted a picture of himself. He said, "Your savior is arrived," So almost as if like by the end of the show, he's basically saying, "I'm the one who's saved you from the pit," right?
Yeah.
Which in the story in the Bible, that's what Jesus does, the Savior, of course. So I mean, I highlighted it here. Your Savior is here, or your Savior has arrived. So, yeah.
Hey, Ani, I got a question for you with kind of what Cody was touching on with this, shooting at the Pyramid of the Moon. And shout out to you, Sean, Widow's son, for mentioning it in our Discord chat about David Wilcock. I didn't know much about him, but when I saw a picture of him, I was like, oh, this guy. I've seen, clips and reels and stuff of him, and I know we talked briefly about him offline, but I believe a lot of your work, though, does touch on, kind of Egyptian entities. And, we talked about moon children and stuff earlier. I was just curious if you had anything out, like if you've had a chance to dive into that story yesterday, if there was anything else you can add to it.
I haven't, but I'm pretty sure, like I said, all of these people on the world stage. And by the way, Cody, that was a great presentation, and everyone on the platform. But all of these people are, from what I see, it's a magical working. They're all a part of magical experiments, whether they know it or not. Because a lot of people ask me, well, are they aware? It doesn't matter if they are. Some of them may have, or they are aware. They've been initiated and they are aware that they're being used for some type of energy type thing, and they're playing the game, the whole Freemasonic Sabbatean game of knowing that at any point they can be sacrificed on certain dates in accordance to the gematria. I also look into the CCRU, the whole thing with the time demons correlated back to numerology in the numogram. The main thing we highlighted earlier is that he died in Colorado, which is the 38th state. I've been seeing a lot more activity happening around Colorado, even with TV series. Every TV series is tied back to Boulder. Paradise just came out, or it just ended. The show Paradise even had the horse symbolism. The guy was Xavier's on the horse. So him dying in Boulder is very interesting. Also, the Boulder is the rock comparative in Freemasonry is quintessential because the 47 Euclidean problem is about establishing a foundation, and they use rock. The mason uses rock to establish the foundation. That's why everything is tied to rocks, or like the actor, The Rock, or Barack. The rock is establishing the foundation to build something upon it. So some esotericism connected to that, but in his relation to ufology, a interesting time, with the Artemis mission, Trump, and everything following behind his whole little his campaign, or not his campaign, his run in president right now tied to ufology. Everyone's saying there's some type of disclosure that's going to go down, or some type of fake disclosure that's going to happen. So I haven't done any numerology on him. I'll probably put up a post tomorrow on this incident. But yeah,
speaking of what you just said, Ani, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Makes me think of like Project Bluebeam. I'm sure a lot of folks in this community are familiar with that. But I wanted to just reminded me, in Austin, Texas, just this past weekend, they did this like nighttime drone show. Look at this. I'm sure Austin isn't the only place that they're doing it.
And this is Elon Musk's brother's drones.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, his company produces those drones that make faces or objects in the sky. I did a whole video breaking that down when the drone thing happened, I think like a year or two ago. Yeah. So you look at Elon Musk's brother, he looks like identical to Elon, but he wears a cowboy hat. I think he's out there in Texas, and he says he wears that so people don't mistake him for being his brother.
Okay. Yeah, no, obviously this isn't like the first time they've done the drone show, and I'm sure there's other places that they're doing this, but to me, this almost looks like a predictive programming kind of thing. They're kind of getting you used to, like, I don't know. Like, in other words, if something comes, like, maybe some people, instead of thinking it's real, they might just think that, oh, it's a drone show. You know what I mean? Like, to further add confusion. I don't know.
Yeah, for them to trap us into further in the simulation timeline, they have to lock us into patterns. So if you have patterns, you establish these things of putting faces in the sky and putting all type of symbolism in the sky, and we're desensitized to it. And one day you're walking outside, and it's daytime, and you got, all type of stuff in the sky, and you're like, what is going on? But they've already desensitized the public by the time it happened. So yeah, there's trapping us in more simulation timeline loops is how I look at it.
Sure.
But I do have some information. I don't know if you could either go to my Instagram, or you can just pull it up on Google. But there's two things I would like to talk about tonight with you guys. One is the shooting of rapper Offset, which is tied back to wrestling. Offset is the husband to popular rapper Cardi B, which a lot of people don't want to hear that name. But there's some esotericism tied to her if you look into the Roman goddess Cardea, which is some stuff that I think KODI or Rambo talked about. Somebody talked about the doorman, and Cardea is the goddess of the hinge, and also she's
how do you spell that?
It's Cardea. She's also comparable to a heart goddess. But yeah, she's called the goddess of the hinge, the hinges of the door. her festival is celebrated on the first day of June. I believe that a lot of symbolism is tied to this goddess, and also this is the first year that Offset did something with WWE. He gets shot like a couple of weeks ago, but he did something with WWE where he, through this wrestler named Grayson Waller, he showed up at a debut, I think on February 26th, and he threw him over a table. But the whole entire WWE debut was about getting AJ Styles into the Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of connections between birth dates and the symbology here. But I just noticed that, you know, his first interaction with WWE is throwing this guy over the table. And there's some other things with the group, the next. You guys know this better than me. I'm just getting into wrestling stuff. They're called like the Next or something, some type of group. Kofi.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Well,
New Day.
The New Day. There you go.
And their symbol is a phoenix, by the way, to go back with Myron's research.
See?
Hmm.
That's interesting. So my connection to it was that, yeah, that's him on that first picture throwing the Grayson guy. My connection was it's just interesting. This is his first year interacting with WWE, which we know the symbol is the 33, the two W's. If you turn it sideways on, it makes it 33. His full name, Offset, is Kiari Kendrell Cephas. And Kiari Kendrell Cephas equals 201 in gematria. And he's shot in a Florida casino 3 years and 22 weeks from the death of the member of the Migos, Takeoff. Now, if you pull up Takeoff's, well, if you pull up Takeoff's or Quavo, the other two members' last album, both of their last albums is a rocket. And Takeoff passed away, I believe, in Houston. And as we know, Houston is the city tied, Houston, we have a problem, to the Apollo mission. Now we have Amigo. Yeah, there you go. This is the last rocket. So there's a lot of occult. If you look at, there's Quavo's album is called, I think, Myron, did you send me that? I think Myron sent me the Quavo last album. No, it's spelled Q-A.
My bad.
Q-U-A-V-O. Yeah. There it goes. The Rocket Power. It's called Rocket Power. That's the one that Myron sent me. So he has this shirt on, and it has astrology or constellations on his shirt. So all of this stuff is very, very coated with esotericism. His last album is called Rocket Power. And the name, the member of their group that passed away, name is Takeoff, which is connected to a launching of a spaceship or a rocket. And his last album is called The Last Rocket. Now you have the final member who's in a relationship with one of the most popular female rappers in the world, whose name is connected to the goddess Cardea, a Roman goddess at that, about the door, or opening the door, the goddess of hinges to doors. he's shot in Florida, offset. His name equals 201. Order of Illuminati equals 201. He's shot in a Florida casino. Florida casino equals 63, just like the group he's a part of equals 63. I also made a connection to the Cepheus the King constellation. If you look at the constellation and the star Cepheus the King, it's a very important constellation because one of the stars in Cepheus is the reason why we have the measurement of luminosity and distances between constellations here. Whatever the name of this star is in Cepheus, it is directly connected to the Milky Way and why we have a measurement of what's called Cephids. They call it Cephids, ironically, because Offset's last name is Cephas. And how we measure the distance of luminosity is because of the star within Cepheus, which looks like a drawing of a child trying to draw a house almost. And he's right next to his wife, Cassiopeia. And I've been doing breakdowns on the Diddy thing with Cassie being Cassiopeia in the sky, which the word Cassie actually means oil, and everything around that case was connected to oil. But his name, yeah. So Cephas equals 7227. The star vault, constellations and stars move every 72 years. So every 72 years, the star vault resets. So the position of the stars from 72 years ago are completely different. It's like a reshifting of the star vault. So they move significantly within this time frame. And the 72 is tied to Solomonic demon magic with the 72 Goetia. It's a very prominent number in Kabbalah, 72 that is. So 72 in the inverse 27 is what Cephas equals his last name, tying to Cepheus the King, where there's king kill rituals that take place Masonically on the world stage every day. We just saw it with, well, we see it every day actually. But Migos equals 72 and 27, just like Cephas. I find that interesting. So the date of the shooting, April 6th, is the 96th day of the year. And his wife, Cardi B, whose real name is Balll Khalees. I know Rambo would have a field day with that name. Her name is Balll Khalees Marlinis Almanzer. That's her real name. That's Cardi B's real name. Balll Khalees equals 96, and he gets shot on the 96th day of the year. That's not a coincidence. Also, the language of the event, shooting equals 44, and Cardi B equals 44. We know the 44 number very well. It's tied to a lot. I also noticed that the group member that was supposedly killed or sacrificed, Takeoff equals 125, just like Cardi B in the first four ciphers. First four ciphers equals 125. In this event of the shooting happens 113 days from his last birthday. And we know 113 is the Jewish gematria number of dishonesty and lies. And the very next day, they showed him smoking a cigarette in a wheelchair, laughing at something. So it's almost like, is it fake? Is this all just for WWE and Energy Harvest? So not to take up too much time, I just found all of those connections and the Migos group being tied to space missions, all of their albums, and Offset's name, even his name Offset is, all of that. I think is very symbolic and very esoteric.
I agree. Yeah, Rambo. I apologize, but I want to say you've pulled up this constellation before. Was it for Cepheus or was it another one that was maybe surrounding?
No, it was Cepheus. I did a decode on I did a decode on Cepheus the king.
Oh, Cepheus. Okay, my bad. I was pronouncing it wrong.
Yes, but what's significant about Cepheus the king that it's everywhere you see it, it's Cepheus the king. It's never King Cepheus. Which also relates to what I was just talking about with the Warriors and the Warriors gang in the movie. It's very significant, ties into it. You can see right below Cepheus is Cassiopeia. That's a W. So the constellation of Cassiopeia is shaped like a W. You can see it in the graphic, the first graphic. No, it was there already, but it was in the first graphic.
My bad.
It does. Yeah, well,
I'll get it back.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So the context in which I mentioned Cepheus the king, and it's not King Cepheus, it's Cepheus the king, is in terms of, and Ani talked about how you see killing of the king rituals over and over. And one of the killing of the king rituals, which was a major one, was the killing of Charlie Kirk. If you bring up an image of the location at which Charlie Kirk was shot, allegedly, it did appear to be a squib. I didn't know what a squib was until I actually started doing my Jack Parsons research. A squib is what they use in Hollywood. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's a great picture to show gunshots. That when gun splatters, like it's we usually have a squib under the clothing, and then the squib, and he clearly had something under his clothing looked like a squib. Nonetheless, if you see an aerial view of the location of the Charlie Kirk shooting, yeah, that's a good one. What shape do you see there? Home plate, right? That's Cepheus the king. That is the constellation of Cepheus the king. Why is it not King Cepheus? It's only Cepheus the king. It's CK, Charlie Kirk. So that was a major connection. But if you go back to you can just press, I guess, backwards to Yaki. Had that graphic where it was just the Google search and the multiple pictures, you'll actually get an idea of some of the, okay, yeah, like, so the one on the far right, like this is good. That one there, the one on the far left, my bad. That actually shows you the nearby constellations. And what do you see? So you see Cassiopeia, which is the W, that kind of ties into the Warriors thing. In the movie, the Warriors, they tag, they with spray paint, they tag certain areas. And they tag a W. That's actually part of this. But underneath, to the left, below and to the left of Cepheus the king, the home plate, is Ursa Minor. What is Ursa Minor? It's the little bear. What is a little bear?
That's where this was. Yep, I remember.
A little bear is a cub. What was Charlie Kirk's favorite baseball? His favorite sports team? He liked several sports teams, but what is his favorite? The Cubs. Who knows if it really was or not, but now you understand. So the Cubs is Ursa Minor. It's the little bear. Cepheus the king, CK, is Charlie Kirk. That's why he was shot, allegedly, at a location that looks like the constellation Cepheus the king, home plate. And he's also a Bears fan. So what is below Ursa Minor is Ursa Major. Ursa Major is the big bear. What's Charlie Kirk's favorite football team?
The Bears.
The Bears. So he has the Bears is his favorite team. The Cubs is his favorite baseball team. That's Ursa Major, Ursa Minor. He's CK, Charlie Kirk, Cepheus the king, and he's shot at a location shaped like the constellation Cepheus the king. And the real kicker that ties it all is if you look up the star Polaris, just look up Polaris star. Polaris is the point in the northern sky. It's not exactly the point, but it's the point around which the stars in the northern sky rotate in a counterclockwise direction. Is Polaris. They rotate around Polaris. You can see, okay, that's a good one. The middle one, it shows the big bear and the little bear, and you see the tail of the bear, the one where you got right there. Yeah, that's Polaris. So you can see how Polaris is on the tail of the cub. But Polaris, and if you'll see, it's illustrated in the top row of images that on this page, all the rotation, they're all rotating around Polaris. What does that make Polaris? If all the stars in the northern constellation are rotating around Polaris, which is on the tail of the cub, Charlie Kirk is the cub fan. If they are rotating around Polaris, what does that make Polaris? That makes Polaris the turning point. Get it?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, and that was So that was the context in which I mentioned.
Well, and then you also did some work on Kirk means circle.
Yes, circle.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
some church circle has
rotation.
the same root. Yes, and his father is an architect as well, which that whole ties into the circle and geometric tools. His father being an architect is related to the narrative, but yes, that's the turning point. Polaris is the turning point. It's on the tail of the cub.
If I can just add, sorry, go ahead, Ani. Go ahead, Ani.
Yeah, I meant to add something. I'm sorry. I just meant to add something significant. I wanted to mention it early, but Offset has a picture of him as a child portraying Michael Jackson. And with the Michael Jackson movie just coming out, it's very interesting. And the tie to that, and he redressed up as him recently, but he has a child photo because he if you could type in Offset Whitney Houston, when Whitney Houston came out with a video, I forgot the name of the video, there he is right there. He's in the video as a young child. And remember, we said earlier that the member of their group died in Houston.
Right.
And he's in a Whitney Houston video. I wanted to highlight that in the connection to the space missions, because the famous, I guess, I don't know if it's NASA quote is Houston, are we there or something?
Houston, we have a problem. Is the
Houston, we have a problem. And with the Whitney Houston mysterious death and him being a backup dancer, like how these people are connected, the Moonchild connection of them always being connected to each other. It's just very interesting how much that shows up. But sorry to take you guys off that that thought that you had prior, but I just wanted to add that in.
Just have one thing to show with this Offset thing so I don't forget. I just decided to do a date measurement from the day he was thrown, or the day that Offset threw Grayson Waller over the table, to the day he was shot. It's 1 month, 2 weeks, 0 days, 120. And I immediately realized what this was a big number I talked about, because on the same day that Offset was shot, you had the Earthset photo. Offset, wow. Earthset, April 6, 2026, the same day. Well, again, Offset was thrown over a table April 6th, or sorry, he was shot April 6th, the same day. And he was thrown over the table on February 23rd in Atlanta. This is the key. In Atlanta. And check out the gematria. So remember the 120. Check out the gematria of Earthset, Eclipse, and Atlanta.
Wow.
So and yeah, and this is it. And Earthset was on the 96th day of the year. Earthset equals 96. But you can see Atlanta has a 3-cipher match with Earthset.
Yeah, Cardi B was 96, and he was shot on the 96th day of the year. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that whole thing was tied with this photo. There's probably way more to this. Offset being shot on the same day that there was an Earth set, and an Earth set is kind of like an eclipse, right? Just
Yep.
you're watching it from the moon. So, and this was actually depicted in Obama's movie "Leave the World Behind."
Yeah, it was.
They depicted like the Earth being, you know, they were on the moon in that movie. They had like the American flag was on the moon, and then they were looking at the Earth, and it was being eclipsed, kind of. So, and I kind of talked about how this thing was probably connected to Leave the World Behind, and think about when they go to space, they leave the world behind. And then in that movie, of course, the little girl was wearing a NASA shirt. So on top of all that, but yeah, there's probably more somehow to this Earth set offset thing. And then the rocket stuff I had covered way back when it happened, when what was the guy's name? Takeoff. Yeah, Takeoff, Migo, he was from the Migos or whatever. And yeah, that was all interestingly connected to a bunch of stuff I talked about with the cryptocurrency XRP, because it's often depicted with a rocket as well. Actually, Stellar Lumens, the other cryptocurrency that connects to XRP, its symbol is also a rocket. And yeah, but I won't get into that. But the point is, I bet you there's a whole decode here with the Earth set and offset.
Yeah,
and I had mentioned how it goes back to Set from the Egyptian mythology as well, because Set, you know, takes out what's his
Cyrus.
Cyrus, yeah, which is Orion. Osiris is supposed to come from the Orion constellation, and of course, the spacecraft that they rode on was the Orion. I did a whole video about that, actually. I did a video about the whole thing with face reveal, middle of the night face reveal.
There's going to be screenshots for days, Cody.
Yeah, middle of the night face reveal with my bed head and my glasses, and you can't see me, but anyway, I have a video on my channel of my face when I actually wasn't half asleep, but somebody in the beginning of the video was asking about why I don't show my face, so there it is. But anyway, the main reason I wouldn't show my face right now is because it's the middle of the night. But that's all I have to say about that. That's the offset Earth set thing. But that was a good catch by you, Ani, because I would have never caught that thing with the WWE connection, because I didn't even catch that. So
yeah, that's a great catch. And also, I just read something connection to Cardi B and Offset, that they just came out with a new medicine for people having myocardial infarction. It's like a lot of people have come to the hospital with signs of heart attacks. So they've been trying a placebo medicine called Artemis on them to see if the placebo is like, you know, has the effects go away. And it's very interesting because you got Cardi B, you got cardio, and a lot of things tied to the heart. And we know what came out that really attacked the heart recently. So yeah, the medicine is called Artemis. You look that up. So very interesting.
Ani, it's crazy you just mentioned that too, because all I was going to chime in was back to Rambo's point about, you know, the Cub Charlie Kirk and the King, right? Going back to Cepheus the King. Let's not forget about King LeBron James, right? Charlie Kirk's middle name is James. Going back to the amazing work that Cody's done on that. But think about it, and you just mentioned the heart and all of those connections. Well, his son, remember when he collapsed with a heart problem, his son Bronny James?
Yes.
So it makes me think about that, and of course the timing of us talking about this, I think it's pretty interesting that LeBron King James is playing Houston right now in this first series. So
we also forgot the major connection. We forgot something big. Well, it's my fault. That the drama of the reason why I bring up Offset is because of the Super Bowl with Cardi B supposedly stepping out on him with Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs. So there's another Patriots connection that was huge, connected back to Cardi B. And the reason why there were more people tuning in is, the Cardi B drama. Her name of her tour that, came up right after, like a day after the Super Bowl, is called like the Miss Drama Tour. So you had drama with her and Offset, and she started to date this Stephon Diggs wide receiver, plays for the Patriots. I haven't looked into a lot of gematria with him, but there's a lot of Illuminati, whole lot of stuff, symbolism with him that I posted. And tied back to the Patriots and everything. So it goes back to the Patriots. And she's 33 years old. So there you go, right there.
Also going back to things that Cody had mentioned with the Offset, Earthset, and the 120s. There also some 6-9s in there. 6-9 is the glyph for Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. 120 is Buzz Aldrin's, Buzz Aldrin being of the moon landing, moonwalk program. So, yeah, Cody had brought up the 120s. There were a lot of 120s in that for gematria of, that's his birthday is 120. That's Buzz Aldrin, and he's 96. So,
he's 96.
Yeah, so
perfect.
So if Cody can bring those graphics up, just as a reminder, Buzz Aldrin, he's 96 years old now. When we have at the time of the moon return to the moon, and the 120s are his birthday. So that's Buzz Aldrin coding into those numbers of Earth set, moon set, and Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah.
I have a little bit to add when you guys are finished.
Yeah, that's crazy with the Buzz Aldrin thing, because I can't believe he just turned 96 on 120. Wow.
Yep.
Earth set 96 and 120.
And the 69 is the glyph for Cancer, the zodiac sign of Cancer. And Cancer is ruled, each zodiac sign has a ruling planet or planetoid, the moon.
The moon. And 69 is on top of the Freemasonic the archway of Freemasonry is a 69.
Yeah, because the royal arch is the arch of the sun from the spring equinox or vernal equinox through to the summer solstice is in Cancer. That's why the 6-9 is on the keystone, because that's Cancer. So it symbolizes Cancer, and it starts at the vernal equinox, which is Aries, and then the arch ends in Libra. So you'll see the Libra glyph. That's what the royal arch is.
So you'll see that all these things have that 12069, the captain of the ship, 12069. This all goes back to eclipses. It's a huge 12069. Atlanta. And I had mentioned how, Satanism, this was on Anton LaVey. It was around his birthday. I did a whole videos about that, but Earthset, all those things have 120. That's a big number, 120. Actually, I've just come to find that any number that has the 1, 2, and 0 in it, 201, 120, 210, also a big number I've noticed. 102, it's another big, those combinations of numbers, 1, 2, and 0, really big numbers in general, which just goes back to the 201 as well.
Yeah, but the 96 thing is the most mind-blowing thing because it ties in. So it does. You can see how there's a correlation with 120 and 69 and 96. They have a relation, it seems.
LeBron equals 96. And we were talking earlier at the beginning when Rambo was talking about Michael Jordan and his connections to, those space-related things. Let's not forget Michael Jordan was in Space Jam and LeBron was in Space Jam too. So the king,
I think, did Myron want to say something? I think Myron.
Yeah, Myron, please.
Oh yeah, I have a little bit to add. I didn't want to interrupt anyone though. I could wait if you guys still have.
Go ahead. Get in here.
Okay. I have a few pieces. Just pretty much tying into almost what everyone said. Just the alignment to follow Ani with the last rocket takeoff. His birth year being in 94. So the 94 being like the Rockets NBA championship, and him being the last Rocket dying in Houston and the home of the Houston Rockets franchise. But the day before the Artemis mission was the Houston the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks. That was the 94 NBA finals. And this year, the last day of March, the Houston Rockets lost to the New York Knicks with 94 points. So I believe the final score was 94 to 111 or something like that. There you go. So this is the day before the Artemis launch. The Houston Rockets beat the New York Knicks, and the New York Knicks scored a total of 94. And this is a replay of the 94 NBA finals between the Houston Rockets and the New York Knicks. The Houston Rockets, of course, won the finals. That's the year of Takeoff's birth year. His album was called The Last Rocket. And then you go the following day, they launch Artemis from Florida. And then the day after they launch Artemis from Florida is Quavo's birthday. And I believe that was so the day they launched Artemis was Quavo's last year of being age 34. And I believe Offset is age 34 currently. And that number 34 was Hakeem Olajuwon, that finals MVP in 1994 was Hakeem Olajuwon, who wore number 34. But yep, he got shot. And he's age 34 as well. And as Ani pointed out, he got shot in the same state as the Artemis launch in Florida. That's one connection I had. And then just the Migos and the group like being connected to space and just moons and symbolism and astrology. You had Quavo tied to another artist, pretty much death. He was a popular artist from New York. Again, remember the Rockets played the New York Knicks, but a rapper named Pop Smoke. And the name of his album that he came out with was Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. And the song that Quavo had with Pop Smoke was called Aim for the Moon. So this was I believe it was his only album or his debut album. And shortly after this album, again, space related, going to the moon, astrology related, but Quavo is featured on this album in a song called Aim for the Moon. And Pop Smoke, to me, like it hits home because I'm from Los Angeles. So Pop Smoke, he's an artist. He passed away, but a lot of these celebrities, they pass away at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. That's the hospital I was born at. But a lot of these celebrities, Biggie Smalls, he passed away at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. You talked about Whitney Houston. When Whitney Houston passed away, her daughter was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Hospital. Cedars-Sinai is a huge hospital in Hollywood, close to Hollywood. And I have a close friend. I was talking to her because an astronaut happened to go to Cedars-Sinai. They were being seen at that hospital, and she worked for Cedars-Sinai, and she was able to see their medical insurance. And the member of NASA's medical insurance was SAG-AFTRA. And SAG-AFTRA is like Hollywood, like the screenwriters are like Hollywood extras. And they were able, like she was like, don't tell anyone, but she showed me like the insurance that the member from NASA had. And NASA is pretty much like insured by Hollywood and SAG-AFTRA. So if you want to look up SAG-AFTRA, that's it. SAG space AFTRA.
Yes, a labor union.
Yeah, it's a union, and they're tied into Hollywood, but this union often insures members of NASA. And then you can see the symbol there. But a lot of like celebrities, everyone, they go to Cedars-Sinai. It's like I said, it's a hospital. I was born at the hospital, but a lot of these celebrities, big name celebrities, If they don't go there when they pass, they go to like UCLA, like Michael Jackson he went to UCLA. A lot of the celebrities that we see on the big stage tie back into this, but and then the Rocket themes, like AJ pointed out, he brought up LeBron James, who happens to be playing the Rockets in the first round. And he talked about LeBron. So LeBron's son had a heart issue, that his heart attack or heart issue that he had was the exact same day that Hulk Hogan died. Hulk Hogan, of course, red and blue tie, but his manager was named Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's real name is James Hart. LeBron's son had a heart issue. Hulk Hogan's career was tied to Owen Hart, and Owen Hart, his nickname was the Last Rocket. Owen Hart's nickname was the Last Rocket, and he was extremely close, and he won King of the Ring. Extremely tied to connected to Hulk Hogan, but after Hulk Hogan returned to the WWE, when Hulkamania returned, the announcer compared him to a hockey star, and his nickname was also the Rocket. Maurice Rashad, he's like a hockey legend, but he was referred to him. Maurice the Rocket, I think, is like Nishard or Richard. I don't know what his last name is, but Hulk Hogan was mentioned under this NHL player also. He's one of the most popular NHL players in the history of hockey. And after Hulk Hogan died, they had a memorial for him, or like a recognition, like WWE always acknowledges their legends after they pass away. The arena where they had this at was at Rocket Arena. And the Rocket Arena is the home of the Cleveland Cavaliers, where LeBron originated from, where King James originated from. So just the Rocket, the space, the Artemis themes that you all keep connecting, the Last Rocket, the time, everything that you guys have been pointing out, it just seems like what Rambo always mentions as a web, and then what Ani always mentions as just moon children. Like everything just seems like they were either birthed and they either know or are unaware, completely unaware of these things going on, but every single thing seems to be aligned in the content that you all have been covering.
Yeah, and what about you? What do you think, Myron, about Kevin Durant? They're announcing that he might be out the next game or two or something.
This is definitely all like King James, LeBron related, building on his legacy, because like I out of everything that's been covered, the biggest thing of the NBA season is their ritual on the Bible, the King James Bible. That 1611 is the biggest mission, and if the Lakers happen to beat the Rockets in the first round, it's just going to carry on, because LeBron's career has kind of been tied around Donald Trump's as well. And it seems like America is in this, like, having celebrities read the Bible from, like, they're supposed to be reading the Bible from start to finish, and they're supposed to be inviting like different celebrities to read like different Bible passages. So I think a lot of this, if LeBron, like the longer LeBron stays in the playoffs, it'll probably play out like on the American stage of what they're kind of, I believe they're making a mockery of the Bible, having like Trump and celebrities and different things just because of the practices that they follow. And now that they're like just all of a suddenly like just focused and anticipating on the Bible. Even last night was Spike Lee wearing the Pope Leo jersey, and then the New York Knicks like blow their lead. They have a collapse while Spike Lee is in the front row wearing a Pope Leo the 14th jersey last night at Madison Square Garden. So it's just there's beef between Trump and the Pope. The world stage is at an all-time high right now. Everything that Rambo's covering, AJ, you, KODI, it's just connecting every single thing that we're seeing, and it seems like they're adding more and more to it by the second.
Yeah, I see. I made a mistake. So they did say let him play tonight. So he was
Also, he is
questionable.
playing tonight. He is playing.
Yeah,
Okay.
he played. He got 18.
He's got 18 before half.
Okay. And again, Durant being from
20.
DC as well. He's from the capital.
Well, and he also went to Austin. We were talking about Austin, Texas earlier with just kind of all the SpaceX, Elon Musk stuff. So
Yeah, we got a huge SpaceX building now down the street in southern Los Angeles. Huge SpaceX complex now. They're doing a lot out here in Southern California.
that's very interesting about because I how long ago was it Rocket Arena? I always thought it was Quicken Loans.
Yeah, and I believe Rocket Arena is new too because I hadn't known it as Rocket Arena recently either. But it's called Rocket Arena now, and I just think that is symbolic of course, just to tie into the theme of everything else going on, even with LeBron playing at crypto now and the old Miami Heat arena connected to cryptocurrency as well before they changed the name there.
Okay, looks like it's been a few years.
Okay, yeah, but the Miami Heat, they had their arena was named after a crypto before they changed it again.
And LeBron plays in crypto.
Yep.
Wow, man. That'd be wild if LeBron ends up in the finals playing against his hometown in Rocket Arena.
And there's another James. They have a James playing there too, James Harden.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the James, the King James, but the James within itself, that theme, they always do that inversion.
And he, I mean, he spent a lot of time in Houston in his career.
Good point. And playing in Rocket Arena now, so that would be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all great stuff, Myron, for sure. Cody, I saw you still have your screen share request up. I'm not sure if you had anything else you wanted to add, or Rambo, please.
I think sorry, I was muted, but yeah, I don't have a lot more. I'm going to be dropping off here in a few minutes because it's getting late, but I just wanted to add I found more to go with the 96 and 120. Look at this. It was in February that this offset thing happened, which equals 96 and 120. He threw a wrestler over the table, which equals 96 and 120. So I thought that was just interesting that those two things also equal that. But yeah, I don't have much, but I don't know if you guys are staying on, but I'll probably drop off here in about 5 minutes or so. But I just wanted to say great job to everyone and really appreciate everyone on the panel and everyone in the chat. Just always enjoy these streams. So
100% codes.
Yeah, me myself too. I have to go in a second, but I appreciate everything you do, Cody. You're on fire right now with what you're doing with your videos. But
appreciate you.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think people need to pay attention to a lot of TV series right now. There's a lot of symbolism in TV series. So I just want to mention a few of them before I get up out of here. Please look at From. The last time we talked about the Institute, AJ.
Yep.
The From is a TV series I need people to look at. It's very Gnostic. It has a lot of things occurring in it that's occurring today. Is about being trapped in a simulation timeline. There's another TV series that's out. What is the name of it? Slipping my mind now that I was mentioning it, but I think the main one right now is From. They have The Boys back out. Have you ever seen The Boys, AJ?
I haven't, no.
What about you, Rambo?
I have not seen it, no.
Okay, this is a very important TV series to watch. There's a lot of comedy in it, but it's basically it's about a superhero or these superheroes that were injected with a serum at birth, which their parents were paid to change them into superheroes. It's all about celebrities. It's literally about celebrities. They have something called the top 7 superheroes in the world, and they discriminate against them, kind of like what goes on, you know, with like the LGBT stuff, but in reverse, it's superhero racism, you know. So, but the guy, he's Homelander. He's basically Donald Trump. If you just follow the archetype in the TV series, he's literally Donald Trump. And the whole show is about this group of people trying to bring him down. So The Boys and Gen V, which is a, what do you call it when a series connect to each other? They're connected. So Gen V is a part of The Boys. So you watch both of them, but.
Oh, okay. So they kind of like mesh at some point.
Yeah, they're mesh. They mesh.
Or is it like you got to watch The Boys, then you watch Gen V?
You watch the first 2 seasons of The Boys. You watch the first 2 seasons of Gen V, then you watch the last 2 seasons of The Boys, and you will see it come together. Yeah, so those TV series, and there was a big ritual with that Chance Perdomo guy that you just had on the screen. They kind of killed him off for the last season, and it was very dramatic. The fans was real down about that, but at the end, I think he died in a motorcycle accident, and there was a lot of symbolism about him passing in that accident.
Oh, I thought you were referring to like them killing off his character, but he died back in.
Well, his character died, then he died, so there was some symbolism with it.
So they didn't kill off the character because of his death. They killed off his character, and then he passes away later.
From what I remember, his character was like locked up and presumed to be dead, and then the next season when he passed, they just confirmed it. Yeah, it was like, yeah, he died. So they probably had something else written for him, but they just pretty much concluded that he died in this like prison or something like that. Then they showed kind of like how he died and passed. But yeah, his character was significant. He was going to have a big role. But yeah, The Boys, Gen V, and From are real big right now to review.
Okay. Well, yeah, I wanted to make sure to get that on the screen so everybody can take note of that. Taking some notes myself. You know, just random thought here when we were talking about Reset. Just made me think of the Rocket Arena named after Rocket Mortgage, and then you have Quicken Loans Arena. I mean, all money related in this whole big reset. I think it was KODI. You pointed out that tweet from Trump about the Great Reset, and obviously Trump, money, 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 the apprentice, all that stuff. Just a lot of money themes with the reset.
Yeah, I mean, this will be like I said, this eclipse next year in 2027 on JD Vance's birthday. As I pointed out in my video about this, it seems to be tied to that picture that's in the Bank of America, which depicts the eclipse over the pyramids. That's why I believe Trump also posted this, because it is about whatever they're getting ready to do with the economies and bringing in some sort of digital currency system, whether it's Elon Musk with his X money or whatever they're going to end up doing with that. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but that's a lot of what's same thing with this shooting yesterday in Mexico. You know, it was about the number 27 and the moon, like money. So we'll see what exactly plays out. I just see the symbolism being pointing towards that eclipse. And JD Vance will probably have a role in it as well, because that is his birthday. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then one more for you, AJ, to add, how you pointed out like Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loans. The angel that just passed, Garrett Anderson. I know we had talked about recently on a few of your shows. We bring up the Angels and the Giants World Series also. But even those two home stadiums, one being Edison and then the other one being Pac Bell, like Pacific Bell, tying into like the energy and electricity, because those are two. I believe Pacific Bell is like AT&T now, but that at the time it was Pacific Bell, and then the Angels played at Edison International.
There you go. Hey, my bad, Zach. I didn't see that you commented that. I guess we're on the same wavelength. Looks like Zach got ahead of me on that one, just with the money themes and reset. I mean, it's all over the place. So anyways, I mean, I know we're getting over the 2.5 hour mark here now, and I know it's getting late, especially for you guys over on the East Coast. So yeah, let's start landing the plane, I would say. I don't know if you know, Ani, you were talking about just some TV shows. Something I caught up with was Five Nights at Freddy's, and I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I don't know, it's pretty entertaining. A lot of you know, occulted connections with that too, especially with the show you mentioned about the boys, and there's a lot of, you know, children related themes with it, but something to maybe look at as well. It's not a full-blown series, it's just like the latest movies that came out. So
yeah, it's like animatronics or something like that. Yeah. I think I talked about it on Patreon.
Yeah, there's a big spiritual kind of, you know, sci-fi technology and human spirituality being merged together kind of thing. There's a lot of different theories about it too, but yeah, I just throwing it out there if you wanted to catch up on a movie that just released. I mean, the only thing, let me get my slides up here as we do some outros. Sorry, just a second here.
Paradise was big too, guys. Please go back and review Paradise. And they're about to come out with season 3 of Silo, and it's all about bunkers. So I don't know if you guys ever did any gematria about bunkers, but like in every big TV series, they keep mentioning bunkers. So
it ties into Adolf Hitler, who, I mean, clearly I didn't. That's not what happened, but the narrative of Adolf Hitler is that he killed himself in a bunker. And we just talked about one of the Artemis astronauts, Victor Glover, having the same birthday as the anniversary date of the time that purportedly Adolf Hitler shot himself in a bunker. So the bunker does tie in. It's a big part of the Hitler narrative.
Which was the 120th day of the year.
Oh, that was April 30th?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
You know what? I'll hit my last slides here really quick, just because we were talking about mustache and mustachio at the beginning of this. Well, let's not forget about Mario, right? And when I just mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's, shout out to Bobby Simpson in the Discord, who when all I did was chime into the Discord of like, with everything we talked about last year with Donnie Darko, and then you have Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. Of course, the main antagonist of this movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, is a yellow rabbit, right? And Bobby Simpson then throws in this yellow rabbit, which is a very rare accomplishment when you catch the yellow rabbit in Super Mario. And that all kind of comes together with what's been going on over the last couple years. You have the Luigi Mangione story. Around the same time they released the first Super Mario Bros. Movie. That was the same year that they also released the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And sure enough, you know, 5-10 minutes into my research, I learned about where the name Mario came from. This guy, Mario Segal, he died back in 2018, but look at the date, you guys. October 27th. Same date, 5 years apart? Sorry, my head's getting hazy, but October 27th. Five Nights at Freddy's released the same day as the death date of the original Mario. It's really all I had. Nowhere else to go with that, but hey, we were talking about Mustache Man, and here's another one in a video game series. So anyways, in closing, my name's AJ Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. You guys can find all my work here on YouTube, where we're streaming tonight, as well as on Instagram, Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. Feel free to send me an email, wordplaybook, 3 O's in book @gmail.com. Cody, close us out, man. I know you got to get some rest.
Yeah, like I said, just want to thank you, AJ, and Rambo. Great presentation also today, and also really appreciate the other two, Ani and Myron, coming on here and sharing their observations. Made some great observations today, and everyone made some interesting pieces come together. I'll be looking into some more of this stuff, and I appreciate everyone in the chat who also added. And again, if you guys want to find me, it's on YouTube, Decoding with Cody, and buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody. So I appreciate you all, and look forward to more of these.
Yes, thanks a lot, Cody. Appreciate you as always. Myron.
Again, yep. Thank you, AJ, everybody for having me as well. I absolutely look forward to my time with you guys. If you want to see any of my work, it's on my Instagram. He got game. The E's are 3s, 2 T's and got with an underscore at the end. Truly appreciate the knowledge and just always learning something. At nights, anytime you invite me here, I'm up for another 2 hours, just like recapping everything that was shared. So I appreciate you guys anytime I'm invited here. Good seeing you all again, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
100%. The door's always open for you, man. Same with you, Ani. Seriously, thank you so much, Ani, and thank you again, Myron, for your amazing work. Make sure that you guys go give him a follow on Instagram. H3GOTTGAM3_. Ani, please. Thank you again for joining.
No, I appreciate the invitation, AJ. This is my favorite Decode YouTube channel right now. So I watch you guys a lot, and it's a pleasure to be on here to share information. You can find me at the Spiritual Shade Room 1 on Instagram, and you also can find me on patreon.com/THE_spiritual shade room. The True Occult newspaper should pop up for you, or follow me on YouTube at Ani OSARU. I drop a video at least once or twice a month. That's about 5 hours.
Very cool. Yeah, definitely well worth at least one subscription. If you guys haven't jumped onto Ani's Patreon, please make sure to do so. His link is in the description of the video as well. And thank you, Ani, also, as well as joint streaming today on your channel as well, trying to get in as many people as we can.
Absolutely.
So once again, last but certainly not least, Rambo, take us home.
Yeah, again, thanks again for a great live stream. Thanks for the audience, whether they commented or not, but thanks for the comments and the positive thoughts, sentiments, and contributions. And of course, for the guests, Ani and Myron, for your great contributions. And Cody, who's there as usual, thanks for your sacrifice again. It's not easy for you, mind-blowing as usual. And like I say all the time, you, AJ, for your contributions, you're the glue that puts it together. Like I say, I've talked about this before. One time you weren't here, this wasn't the same. This is your show, and I appreciate you for that. And on that note, yeah, this is where I can be found, patreon.com/thetruthcodes. I have my latest video is a 30-minute video on what I talked about earlier, the esoteric symbolism of Artemis 2. I expound a lot more on that, and I'll, in the coming days and weeks, I will expand on what I talked about today and the Warriors connection, and there's so much more. I mean, endless, seemingly endless connections. And I can also be seen on Instagram.com/thetruthcode. So thank you to everybody, and stay safe, everyone, and have a good night.
And a final thank you to just everybody in the chat, everybody who participated in the chat. Even if you're just listening, we really appreciate the support. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe on the way out. Doesn't cost a thing. And without further ado, we'll see you guys next week on the next one. Take care, everyone.
Bloodlines, overtime, dragon descendants, scripting bread and circus lizards in attendance. Serpent queens, breaking dreams, dragging me down. The underworld royalty is all about how much you can clown. I'm talking about the number 9-2. If you didn't know, well now you do. Numerous fears, what's in the hearse? I am who I am, man with a plan. Where you at with the rebellion? 1 in a million, us against a billionaire reptilians. Look at the word rebellion, spells out the same as the rebel lion. Ain't even trying, ain't living, you're dying. Well done to the skeleton, no time for the rebellion. Strawmen led by spellmen, dialectic Hegelian. Everyone's worked up waiting for the aliens. Problem, reaction, solution, little contribution. The script tells that they cast spells like nuclear fusion, spreading confusion, lie distribution. Old as hell, ain't even some new shit.
Wounded radium, cranium, aliens popping up like cicadas. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians.
The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians.